Royal Sushi and Izakaya is a passion project. Under one roof, you have a boisterous izakaya for some great food. Tucked away behind the Northern curtains of the izakaya, I have my omakase service. Omakase literally means I'll leave it up to you. So it's a chef experience where you get to see the chef's vision. And there I do my 17-course, $300 omakase for 16 people a night, 8 people a seating. Every chef's dream is to have both things, right? You want a fun, loud, volume-packed place. In the same space, I have my very serious chef tasting meal where I get to make the food I want. You know, I get to control everything. And that's, I think, a chef's dream, to have both. Hey, I'm Osito. I'm the chef owner here at Royal Izakaya. 10 hours before omakase service. Fish is coming in right now from Japan. Let's bring it on in. This is Nobu. He's the owner of Yama Seafood. He distributes to some of the best Japanese restaurants in the area.
This was caught on Sunday in Japan, packed on Monday in Toyosu, brought on the airport, and then it arrived last night at JFK. A few hours later, brought it over to you. Today is Tuesday, yeah. This bill's pretty big. So long that it's on a 2-pager.
It's pretty big.
400. Not your biggest, but.
Yeah, but that's just for today. There's 3 more deliveries. Tuna, bluefin. Yeah. Oh, God, it's heavy. It's 9 o'clock, fish just got dropped. You can't stay on the ice too long, otherwise it damages the fish. I have to get it out, cleaned, gutted, scaled, prepared. Some's gonna go in the dry ager, some's gonna go in the walk-in. A lot of it will be used for tonight's service. Here are some farm mackerel. Mackerel is my favorite fish. It's oily, it's fatty. I also gravitate towards fish that I think are a challenge for the American palate. Growing up in my dad's restaurant, mackerel was a fish that a lot of customers immediately said no to. They probably had a bad experience. It's a very technical fish because of the oil content. It has to be extremely fresh. That fish gets salt cured, gets vinegar soaked. I like a good challenge. I like to let diners know that things they may not have thought they liked, they actually love. This is the kue, Japanese long-toothed grouper. This one's gonna get aged for at least a week. You can kind of see it's already in rigor. You gotta handle with care because this could easily just mess up your whole day. So what they've done here, this little chop, and you see there's a little hole here. This is the ikejime process. That's a Japanese technique. They stick a metal rod down the spine to kill the nerves. Keeps the fish from decomposing so quickly. You can tell an immediate difference when you work with a fish that's ikejime and one that's not. The flesh kind of tears a bit for the ones that have not been processed that way, whereas this one, if I were to cut into it today, it's just so pristine, it's so tight. Got a ton of fish I gotta break down right now. I usually have a couple more hands, but since we have so much fish, I came in a little early to get started. But between 3 sushi chefs, we usually spend about 4 hours getting all this fish broken down, sorted out, plus a couple more hours of skinning, slicing, getting ready for service. I always start my fish prep with the fish that have to get salted or cured first, because that takes time. So we're gonna start with the Spanish mackerel. All right, so first part cleaning process, we always cut the fins off. You just wanna get as much as the guts out as possible. That's what really rots it very quickly. Salt curing, what it does is essentially pull out a lot of the excess moisture. Mackerels, it's important because we're gonna vinegar soak later, so it allows the vinegar to penetrate easier and better. So that's gonna salt cure for about 20 minutes. So let me get the squid out. This is the Iori Ika, big fin reef squid. I love using this squid specifically from Japan. This one is super meaty, sweet, delicious. You cannot get this from America, this squid. Yeah, this is a $72 squid to understand this cost. Woo! There we go, ink sac intact. You do not want to pop that. This is the spine. This is the only kind of like bone in the squid. I guess it's not a bone, it's like cartilage. The squid has millions of layers of skin on it, but you just take a towel or a paper towel, and if you just go like this, you see this film, like that? You want to get this layer off. Rubbing squid skin off, sticking my hand in fish stomachs to take all the guts out, like, that's my zen time. So Ishigaki dai, spotted knife jaw bream, also known as barred knife jaw bream because of these crazy spines it has. This is one of my favorite fish to work with. I'm using it for the omakase this season. So this one's gonna get aged, so it has to get cleaned very well. This process, tsukibiki, is the knife scaling. Just removes the scales off of the skin. Fish like this one, this Ishigaki dai, you have to do it this way because the scales are so compact that if you use another scaling tool, they just won't come off and they'll end up all over your cutting board. You have to do the entire thing by hand. So this is gonna take a bit of time. Growing up in my dad's restaurant, my dad's from Kyushu, Japan. He's a classically trained Japanese chef. My mom's from Seoul, Korea. They opened a restaurant in 1979, one of the first Japanese restaurants in South Jersey called Fuji. I started working there when I was 14, so I learned everything, like the foundation of what I know there. These fish heads, we actually saved them and the collars, and we're gonna use them in the izakaya. They're gonna be fried. It's a dish called kabutoage, served with the ponzu sauce. And the best meat available for a great price. So we cross-utilize a lot of things, so there's zero waste.
It's 10 o'clock.
I'm gonna break down the tuna upstairs. I did what I had to do down here. This is like 120 pounds. It's from a 500-something pound fish from Spain. All right, here we are. This is the sushi bar. This is where the omakase happens. I do 2 seatings a night, 17 courses.
Gotcha.
1, 2, 3. Oh my God. That is a big tuna. This is the belly cut. All of this right here, this is otoro. This is the super fatty tuna belly. And all of here, this is gonna be chutoro. And this is the akame, the lean part. This is the kama. So this does have kama toro here. This is good if you grill it or torch it. It has a lot of muscle tendon, so very chewy, but delicious if you cook it. When I do this, I'm measuring for a saku cut. So this is like the length of the fillet you want to work with for sushi. When it gets cut into that like long rectangular shape, this is the size. So I'm gonna just cut it down in usable chunks. Parts of it that are more chewy, the tail end or end bits, that'll be put off to one of my sous chefs. Some of it's gonna get dry aged, some of it's gonna get used today, and some of it's not gonna get dry aged. It's gonna be stored and probably used tomorrow. This loin right here is $2,500. Yeah, this is $2,500 a fish. Tuna is a quintessential sushi fish because of just the flavor. I mean, when you eat bluefin tuna like this, there is nothing that tastes like this. The umami, the depth of flavor, the fattiness, the richness. This paired with nice acidic rice, soy sauce, it's like the perfect bite. This is a special paper called Meguro paper. Each roll costs $10. I mean, it's a highly absorbent, thick paper that just maintains the quality of fish, especially for tuna, but we use it for everything. So 120 pound of that bluefin, we're gonna go through that in 5 days. Truly wild. Go birds. So this here is Edwin. He's one of our sushi apprentices here. He's gonna be wrapping all the tuna to put away in the walk-in. That's it for the breakdown as of right now. It'll continue through the day, but I'm gonna get the rice started since that takes some time. Okay, it's 11 o'clock. Let's start washing. We do 3 batches of this a day, but my omakase rice, I use a special grain, special vinegar. This is called the hitomebore. It means love at first sight. This is my akazu rice vinegar. It has to stay closed and contained to keep the acidity of the vinegar. You can't keep it open. This is the rice washing process. Sushi rice is a little sticky. It's mainly because of just this natural starch on the rice. You see the starch coming off right now. And you don't want it to be too sticky where it's like unmoldable. You also don't want it to be too soft, too hard. So it's so technical to get this part right. I always equate nigiri to clay work, which is what I love doing in pottery. You're just molding the rice, and the better the rice, like the better clay, the better your product. But this is the most technical part of the day, actually. Rice is way more important than the fish. Obviously, you need great fish, great product to make great sushi, but if you don't have good rice, it doesn't matter how good the fish is. So rice is straining for 8 minutes. Hey, timer just went off. Gotta cook the rice. This is the rice net. We use the net so we can easily pull it out. Otherwise, the rice kind of sticks to the pot. Do 36 minutes in this gas cooker. Always double check that the flame's on. In the beginning, I have hit that switch and the flame did not go on. And then 36 minutes later, you're left with some really wet raw rice and a really, really messed up day. While the rice is cooking, let's go over here. This is another sushi apprentice, Elmer. He's been with us for over a year, started as a dishwasher, super skilled. He is taking all that toro, that muscle part that's super chewy, scraping all out, and then he's gonna go in it again to take out even more connective tissue. So it's like a super labor-intensive process. This takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, but if a restaurant like can do this, that's how you utilize a whole tuna. Rice is cooking. While that's cooking, this is the dry ager. Dry ager, built for beef, but I mean, I think, and fish. Okay. Dry aging, what it does is it concentrates the flavor. This is the kue. You saw one of these earlier, so you can kind of see how it's completely dried out, leathered out. This is the Ichigaki dai. The way we cut it, we retain the fillet we're gonna use later. So looks like I'm like the fish Hannibal Lecter in a way, right? This is the aged bluefin tuna. Beautiful piece, so we're gonna use this tonight. I'm gonna cut into it. We got 15 minutes till the rice is done, and I'm gonna have to do the sharizu, so let's break this down. This is not every day that I use aged tuna. I just started incorporating it. It's very different than beef. There's no fungus or mold that you're trying to build up. That doesn't form on here and you don't want it. I mean, this is gonna be eaten raw. Coming through, rice, if you're here. Rice is cooked. This is the sharizu. This is the process of incorporating my rice vinegar mixture into the rice. It has to happen right now when it's steaming. This process is important, one, for germification. The acidity prevents it from building up mold or building up any bacteria. The other process, it encapsulates every grain of rice and it protects the flavor and it makes it super malleable. So this thing, the hangiri, is made of Japanese cypress wood, super resistant to rot, warping, mold, and it doesn't have so much of a fragrance, so it's great to do rice in it. This thing itself, the size, is like $500-600, so these things you try to keep for years. What a lot of people don't know about sushi is sushi actually means sour rice. So originally, before nigiri sushi became a thing where it's press molded, what I do at omakase, sushi was a fermented fish. They took fish, they took rice, salt, vinegar, and they essentially barreled it up for years. And the lacto-fermentation from the rice would ferment the fish, and then they would grill it later. So we're gonna let this sit for about 10 minutes, air out, flip it, then put it in the warmer. All right, 1 o'clock. Still a lot to do, but caviar should be here any minute. I'm Gary.
Hey,
yeah.
What's going on?
Got the goods?
I brought you some of the delicious caviar. We got the premium Massatra from Italy. Very nice texture.
We're gonna use these in the next 5 days between omakase and izakaya. So on any given piece, you're probably gonna get like that much caviar. I don't believe in like, I hate it when you get like 2 grains and I'm like, what is that? So.
Amazing.
It's perfect, thanks.
Like always.
It's 1:30.
It's time to get slicing on some of this fish, get ready for service. So first I'm gonna start with the king salmon belly from New Zealand. This is a yanagi, Japanese fish slicer, single bevel. It's a special Damascus metal. You can kind of see that design. It's made from the nohi. This one takes like a year or 2 to get. I like it because it's just very agile. I do a lot of unique slicing based on the fish, based on the way it eats, the texture, if it's gonna get torched or not, presentation. You'll see some pieces get double cut. That's either for looks or it's also in case there might be a pin bone that broke off. So if you do a double slice, you'll catch that. Also just looks so pretty. I'll say omakase sushi is just raw fish. That's why you gotta make it look pretty. It's only 8 seats. It's only 16 seats a night. It's only one of me. It's 2:45. We're in the Izakaya. I'm here with Chef Justin. He runs the Izakaya menu. I run the omakase. Justin and I have been working together for a few years now. He's super talented. We, depend on each other for each other's opinions on the food. It's nice to kind of have that backing or that person to bounce ideas off of.
So we're doing yaki gyutan, which is grilled beef tongue. We braised the beef tongue, and then it is marinated in mirin, soy, and sake. And then there's two sauces. There's a salsa matcha, and then there's a shio negi, which is like the traditional Japanese garnish for this dish. Charred scallion, raw garlic, sesame, some lime to tie the two sauces together.
That sounds really amazing. So while I'm a sushi chef, restaurateur type of person, I also love photography, and I do all the social media photography for the restaurant. So let's head on upstairs to get this shot. So we're in my office right now, standing right on top of the Izakaya. This is where I do all my photography to get all the specials done, to get the menu photographed. I got my light box here, big diffuser. This is my Canon R6 Mark II. I just upgraded finally. I go for up close and personal. Normally, if we have an Izakaya special, I'll set aside about 10-15 minutes to get it photographed. I do have to upload this on my computer, get it edited. I'll send it over to my GM, Nicole, and she'll get it up on Instagram. It's 3:25. We still got a lot more to do. What I'm working on right now is the omakase menu. It's dated, so I do it every day, and obviously there might be some changes. I have to do it right now to get it to the team so they can print it, get it folded, stamped, and ready to go. So let's get going. 4 o'clock. Let's pop into the kitchen. This is my father, Masaharu Ito. He's from Japan. He taught me everything I know. Sushi master, making the tamagoyaki for tonight. This is a very technical thing. He's way better than me.
Not exactly. I think he's doing very well. I think a couple more years to come, his prime time will come. He has to think about what he's gonna do rest of life. But I'm very happy right now.
Working with my dad in this context is much easier. You know, back in the day when he was teaching me, I was a resentful, young, cocky kid. Now it's great. He gets to go home early. I handle all the problems, and it feels good. This tamagoyaki is essentially like a sweet, savory egg omelet. It's the most technical egg omelet you can make just because of the motion required to do it. You can see he's kind of doing this flipping motion in a square copper tamagoyaki pan. So it's very technical, very hard to get that motion down. Okay, it's 4:30. I'm going upstairs to take a 20-minute break. It's the only time I get, so let's go. I'm gonna eat my lunch. Okay, 5 o'clock. Got my break, ready to do final prep. We got an hour to go, 30 minutes till pre-shift. So I just have a couple things I still have to cut. I got the squid, I got the live scallop, both on to be the shrimp. Been doing this for a long time, but there is a lot of pressure to execute. It's 5:30, time for pre-shift. I'm here with Samantha. She's my omakase server, my wingman. She's been here for 7 years working with me. What do we got tonight?
So 2 allergies tonight. One guest at 6 o'clock has a mackerel allergy and another guest at 6 o'clock cannot eat shrimp. That is all. Today we are booking Tuesday, February 20th and Wednesday, February 21st.
It's pretty far out.
The first date we have available.
Great. For tonight, the shimaji, the kue, the ichigaki dai, nodoguro, and the akami and toro are all dry aged. For add-ons, I have the A5 Wagyu, caviar toro, Hokkaido uni, so I have a very special one in case people want to get it. We have the spicy crunchy tuna tamaki, toro uni, caviar tamaki, and my dad's tamago. It's 5:40. We got 20 minutes till service starts. Samantha, we can start seating 10 up, so in 10 minutes. Otherwise, you know, we're about to do what we do every day. The show begins soon. Omakase is a performance in the sense that everything leading up to it is very physical, technical, fast-paced, precise work, and the clock is just ticking, ticking, ticking. And everything leads up to this one moment where the show begins, the guests are seated, and we get going. At that point, everything's pretty much prepared. It's just assembling the nigiri. But the assembly part is, to me, it's like a dance. Kumamoto oyster with toro tartare to start. You can use your hands, make sure you do one bite, okay? It's all best eaten in 30 seconds. The omakase is also a performance in the sense that I am directly engaging with all my customers. I am live for them, and if there's any type of emotion in the day or any type of thing that's on my mind, I have to clear that and I have to be ready. This is the katsuo tataki, charred Japanese bonito. These people have waited months to get in to experience this with me. They're paying a lot of money, and it's important to make sure that energy-wise and personality-wise, I'm there too to be with them. I want it to be a great experience, and part of what makes omakase great is you are right there with the chef, who you're watching them make every piece. They can explain to you what's going on. You get to see the process, and they can explain to you the best way to eat it in their mind, and that's a very special connection.
I've been obsessed with burgers easily for about 25 years now.
Hamburger America is the name of the documentary film I made in 2004. I have since then written 5 books. I've had 3 TV shows and now a restaurant.
2 burgers that are on the menu are there because I believe that those are primary source burgers that go back to the dawn of the hamburger. There's always that moment before we open the doors, you know within seconds the place is going to be filled up. We're doing 1,200 to 1,400 pounds of beef a week. My job is to make people appreciate hamburger history. My job wasn't really to feed people, but it just became a natural next step, and I'm glad I took it.
Good morning, I'm George Motes, burger scholar, and this is Hamburger America. Come on in. We built the restaurant of my dreams. I was not trying to do something that's silly and retro, but based on history. What would an old school diner do? And we actually made it happen. I can't believe it.
What are you doing, George?
I was trying to fix something somebody bent. I don't know, how do you bend these things? Owning a restaurant, literally, it's every 5 minutes something breaks. Every 5 minutes. This beautiful 11-stool counter was a design that I've had in my head for decades. You'll notice it's a very unique setup. There's a griddle facing forward. I didn't want to spend the rest of my life facing a wall and have everybody say, George, turn around. I want to take your picture. It's 10 o'clock. We gotta get going. We're open in an hour from now. Let's get to work. Come on. Prep happens downstairs. Incoming. Oh, we have to make sure we blur out this machine so no one saw this, right? This is proprietary. You don't have to blur out Antonio. This is Antonio. All the burgers have onions, and we sell a lot of burgers. Our onions have to be the perfect thinness, so they cook faster because that's the way they did it back in the old days. So this thing is perfect. It actually slices the onions exactly the way we need them. I used to use a deli slicer. That's 120 to 140 movements like that for one onion. This thing slices onions in 4 seconds. We're now doing 200 pounds of onions a day. This is the thing I don't miss, by the way, about doing this. So for some reason, you could slice 20 onions and be crying like a baby. And all of a sudden, the 21st onion, you just stop. Your eyes glaze over and your body's protecting itself against hydrochloric acid that's coming off of onions. How do you do it?
Le ponemos casi siempre agua aquí para que quite un poco la fuerza.
Oh. But the real star of the show is the beef. Check this out. This is where the meat is hidden. It's roughly 700, 800 pounds. We have enough. I think we definitely have enough. To my workstation. Let's do this. 2 of the most important ingredients right here. Onions, beef. We look at the whole restaurant. We make sure that the entire restaurant is set up, ready to go, which means that if you're behind the counter, what you can do with this thing, this gathering thing, is you can just put all that together, pull it towards you. Our menu's back in here, ready for the next customer. Hey, Allison, look who's here. It's our star server, Allison. We have a lot of tools here. They're all necessary. One is my spatula. In order to smash a burger, I need my very thick 12-gauge stainless steel. Couldn't find a spatula that was strong enough to withstand, smashing over and over and over again. They kept breaking and bending. So I had a friend of mine baby one. Once you smash the burger, you need to flip it over. You end up with a second tool, which is basically a scraper. We sharpen them because we need to get the burger off the surface perfectly. Sometimes we do this in front of customers. They're like, what's happening? It's just a sharpening stone. Yeah, it's sharp. And then when we're done, we scrape up all the other stuff on the flat top with this. So we're getting the seasoning set up. We have kosher salt, and we have a special seasoned salt. These are melter covers. This is the butter wheel. It's big on TikTok. We toast our buns with unsalted butter. Originally, we thought we had salted butter, and we had unsalted, and we liked it, so we never changed it. That's the way things go. The griddle takes a while to heat up. I think it's ready to go now. We usually turn it on about an hour before service. It's an old school 1-inch thick piece of steel. We could have chosen like a $35,000 griddle, but we had to use an old one because the newer models tend to burn our onions badly. So we use the old school model that will not burn the onions unless you really try to. We gotta open. Seriously, it's 11 o'clock, we gotta work. It was definitely a show. We like to call this hamburger Benihana. 2 doubles, 2 single. We're making an Oklahoma fried onion burger. I do it the historically accurate way.
People used onions to extend their beef supply during hard times.
Probably 20 years ago, I went out to Oklahoma and I thought, that's too many onions. But it's absolutely not too many onions. They cook down. Smash burger cannot be hand formed. It has to be a ball of beef. But I like the effect and the way the smash burger looks when it starts as a ball. But I'm just trying to get it that it's thin enough that it's not falling apart, but that it's also cooking fast. When I was doing pop-ups, I would make one burger. This burger, the onion burger. I can tell when it's ready to flip because I can see it. The edges cook, juices race to the surface. That's when it's ready to flip. Cheese goes on the flip. You can go anywhere in Oklahoma, and this is the way they're making their onion burgers. The bun's not even toasted. Steam the buns on top. The onions cook down. I mean, they go to less than half their volume, and they change their color completely. You can see that. Look at that. It's like optimal. We have a very unique system here. This griddle and that sandwich station feed the counter. The back griddles in the back expo go out to the dining room and to go. We have Cloudy on fryer, just shoestring fries, that's it.
This is Drink Expo, is where all the drinks come from. We have a couple of special milks in-house. We have, obviously, the obvious, the New York chocolate egg cream.
This is a traditional Milwaukee hot ham sandwich right here. It's basically thin sliced ham, heated up on the griddle with Swiss cheese, another Midwestern staple. This is the classic right here. Literally, the first burger ever made was likely a smash burger. The smash burger was lost at one point to patty forming machines, to freezing methods, and we're trying to make sure that people appreciate that and bring it back. And what I do is I give it a little bit of a cooked patch on one side so that when I do smash it, it doesn't get stuck to the spatula. People think of smashing a burger, you lose all the juices. When you're smashing a raw patty, there are no juices, it's all unrendered fat. Once you cook the bottom half of the burger, all of the juices are racing to the surface to escape. And then once you start to see that the juices are at the top, you flip it over to preserve them. Cheese on, melt. To me, when I'm looking at the griddle, it's almost like the way a surfer looks at waves. Every once in a while I have to remind myself to look up and see who's here. Oh, hi. See? It's seasoned salt. It's Lowry seasoned salt. You can get it as a cheeseburger or no cheese, or you can get it all the way with very fine diced onion, mustard, and pickle. We dope it, which means that we get the bottom half of the bun ready to go, and that way all we have to do is put the patty on top of that, and we're done. That's it. Look at that. Oh. Look at that. It's beautiful. Beautiful. I've always been obsessed with the American hamburger. A long time ago, I was looking for a subject for a documentary. Somehow, nobody was treating the American hamburger with any respect. So I made a very quirky little film called Hamburger America, and ended up becoming sort of a cult favorite among some super fans. And here I am now, 25 years later, standing in front of a griddle in my own restaurant. So it's a fun job. I mean, this is the best job I've ever had, I think. Good to see you, bud. Hey, we got a little thing happening here. During the pandemic, I lost 14 events around the world. George Moat's Burger Fest in Tokyo, Toronto, Paris, London. It was incredible. And we lost them all because of the pandemic. So we were trying to find a way to survive. And we started making burgers in my backyard. And I built this thing called the Burger Slide. Like it was a part of my closet, my kitchen closet. I ripped it out, stuck it out my window, and people could come by at like 2:30 for a double, and window would open up at 2:30, and out would come a bag of burgers. I think if we hadn't done that, I don't know if we could open this restaurant if I hadn't kept up practice. Positive contact. I'm gonna make you a very special item here. I'm not gonna say what it is, and if you know what it's called, you can order it. All you need to know about this, it is the burger of my youth. I was a lifeguard in my teens, and I used to run down the beach to get this at a different beach club. I could eat 2 of these and then run back to the beach. No condiments on this one. It's cooked in butter. It's perfect. It's important to me because this is my hometown burger. This burger's been around for 51 years. This is my last one, but I'm actually gonna let T finish it. So I'm out of here. Give it up, bud. I do that every day, and I love it. You ready, T? T's got it. T's got it. I said a long time ago that I'm not an idiot. I'm not gonna open a restaurant. I have so much fun just being on TV and and writing books. I mean, why would I want to open a restaurant? Be stuck in one place, and here I am.
Being a line cook is a lot about working with and inside of organized chaos. During service, it's really, really hectic and incredibly fast-paced. 15 minutes will feel like 5 seconds. It's really just about getting the food out as fast as it can be made, as well as it can be made. Prepping, by comparison, I get to take all this time to compose myself. It's a little bit like a moment to breathe before we have to get going. And I obviously just take a lot of pride in putting out the best possible product. I'm Tristan Kwong, line cook at Bonnie's Brooklyn. We're here in Chinatown, it's 10 a.m. and before we go into Bonnie's, I gotta buy some fruit for the restaurant. Right now, we're in an alleyway underneath the Manhattan Bridge. I would consider it a hidden gem. I come here because I have a huge selection of Asian fruits, which is indicative and representative of the Chinese American culture we represent at Bonnie's. The fruit platter changes every day based on what they have at market, so let's go see what they have. And the fruit plate is on the menu because at the end of a Cantonese banquet dinner, they'll serve you either a plate full of oranges or honeydew or something boring and bland. At Bonnie's, we wanted to switch it up and give you something way more delicious. So it's the end of September right now, and I'm looking at end of summer, beginning of fall fruit, which holds a lot of pit fruit and a lot of citrus and grapes. We used to get fruit from vendors in huge cases of like 50 or 60 a piece. Not only was it expensive, but you didn't really get to do a lot of quality control, so things would be rock hard. I live down here, so I have access to all of this, and then I can just take it to the restaurant in Brooklyn. Sorry about the train. We're actually literally underneath the Manhattan Bridge. So these are muscadine grapes. They're like regular grapes, except bigger, and they have a thicker skin, and the flesh is like a gummy bear. These are Asian pears, and they're really, really good. They're like halfway between like an apple and a pear. They're super juicy. The best ones always have the most like super up spots on them because that's all the sugar coming to the surface. Avocado are technically fruit, so I'm gonna grab these not for the fruit plate, but for family meal. Or for $5, where can you get a cheaper avocado? I make family meal for the team almost every day, and I like to make good food to give people good feelings. On to basket 2. So these are longan. It translates roughly to dragon eyes. So we're gonna grab some dragon fruit. We have 3 varieties. It's white, yellow, and red. The really ripe ones will have a little bit of give, but you gotta be careful because out here, if you squish them too hard, they'll come over and yell at you. It's about 11:30 now, and I need to check out so we can get to Bonnie's. It's noon now, we just got to Bonnie's. So this is our dining room. It's gonna be packed in about a couple hours. This is the pass where all the food comes out. And this is our service kitchen where I spend most of my time as a line cook. I'm gonna head downstairs to our prep kitchen to put this fruit away and see what I gotta do for the rest of the day. So we're in our prep kitchen now. And the first thing I do when I come in is check our master prep list to see what I need to do for the day. Tasks get broken down based on station. So we have a walk station and a steam station. It's kind of first come, first serve. So you can grab whatever task you like the earlier you are, or you could push off the task that you really don't like to someone else if they come in later. There are a couple things that I usually do as a line cook to get us ready for service. Today I'm gonna be deboning ribs, I'm gonna be making green sauce for our fish, and I'm gonna be cutting fruit. And the first task we're doing today is green mustard condiment for the fish. With a change, and let's go upstairs. All right, let's go. So as a personal icon of mine, Gucci Mane likes to say, a man without the sauce can be lost, but the same man can be lost in the sauce. So the first thing we're doing today is making our ginger scallion sauce. And that's the base for our green mustard condiment that goes on the fish. Ginger gets peeled really easy with a spoon, does not take much. I can't tell you about everywhere, but here we try to have the line cooks as involved with the process of the stuff that we serve on a day-to-day basis. I think it's important that we have eyes and hands on it so we know exactly how it's made, or if we need to make it during service, just in case, we know how to do it. The fish comes butterflied and deboned. From there, we take the fish, we scrape all the meat out with a spoon, we grind it up with shrimp, water chestnuts, and garlic chives, and then we take that same meat that came out of the fish skin and stuff it back into the skin. And for service, we throw it up on the plancha, shallow fry it, and comes out like a beautiful ocean hot dog. On a technical scale, that dish is crazy, and it goes really nice with the sauce we're about to make. Throw the ginger into the Roboku. It's like not a paste, like it still has some consistency to it. You want it to have like a small crunch or at least a little bit of texture. And now I'm just gonna throw the peppers in because they are gonna take much less time to blitz because they are much softer. If I threw the peppers in at the beginning, the peppers would be mush and we'd still have pretty big chunks of ginger. So we're gonna move the oil into this wok, get it ripping hot. Very powerful things demand respect. The wok demands respect. You can see it's like a jet engine. All the jets point one direction. This is easily my favorite tool in the whole kitchen. Yeah, I think every restaurant should have a wok, if not even just to like heat up water. So I'm just gonna add some garlic here and scallions. That's salt, sugar, and MSG. So we pour the essentially boiling oil over our ingredients so that the oil will pick up the flavors. You gotta go slow because it's working with the moisture inside. Super hot. But right now we're just gonna let it hang out and we're gonna let that oil soak up all the flavor. I have to blanch these scallions in the wok. This is a pasta tank. We use it to clean the wok. I'm gonna shock it right here into some really, really cold water so that they stay nice and green. Flick that wrist. So this is our ginger scallion sauce. Like we whipped a bunch of air into the oil so it's emulsified. It's like nice and bright green. It is my favorite sauce in the restaurant. And we'll just pour it up, put it away until we're ready for service. So I'm just gonna label and date these and I'll throw them in the fridge. So it's 1:30 now. We're gonna debone ribs for the McRib sandwich. So we have baby back ribs steaming in our steamer here. So they're just whole ribs. We throw them in here after they've been marinating for 24 hours. Right now I'm just splitting the backs of the ribs. We take the membranes off. I'm just trying to create like an opening for the bones to come out. So this is more or less a 3-day process. We spend 1 day marinating them in a secret marinade and then they get steamed the second day. You can see that they're like super duper flexy. They're basically ready to fall apart. And then on the 3rd day after they've chilled and settled, we take them out and we portion them. Like pretty much no give. I can just slide my finger under here and the bone will pop out. My tip to not burning your fingers is to burn your fingers a lot. It's like building calluses. The more you do it, the less it hurts. At this point, faze me no more. The chassis McRib, obviously modeled after the McDonald's McRib, except this is not a homogeneous congealed patty of something that is supposed to resemble rib meat, but actually about 1/3 of a rack of ribs, which is absurd. It's like eating 4 or 5 ribs in one sitting, boneless, just in a couple bites. It's covered in char siu glaze, which is a very, very Cantonese dish. It gets Chinese hot mustard, and it gets placed on a milk bun we source from Chinatown, bread and butter, pickles, and onions. Between the acid and like the fattiness in the ribs, the bite is just magic. Next thing we're gonna do is just stack them up together like this. So it's 2:30 now. I'm gonna bring these downstairs, put some heavy weights on top to get them flat so we can portion them tomorrow. And I'll bring fruit up so we can cut our fruit plates. All right, so actually this is my favorite part of the day. When I get to cut fruit, I get to slow down. I get to take my time and I get to be like super meticulous with it because not only is it food, but I consider it to be like partially art. We're gonna start with the pomelo. I'm gonna go ahead and supreme it because pomelos have quite a thick skin, as you can see. And supreming just kind of means to like remove the flesh from in between the segments. Growing up in Queens, in a large Asian American neighborhood, there was always a lot of fruit around. Fruit also has like a deep-rooted connection in like Chinese families where if you have an argument with your parents, they won't really say sorry to you. They'll just bring you a plate of cut fruit and that's more like their apology. Or if they wanted to say I love you, they won't like say I love you to your face, but they'll bring you a plate of cut fruit and it's essentially the same thing. So when we opened, we had 2 desserts on the menu. One was the fried milk sundae, which is mind-blowingly good. And we had a fruit plate. I got put in charge of the fruit plate. I wanted to put something out that was as good, if not better, than the sundae, which is really, really hard to do. When they put me in charge of getting fruit, they also granted me the title of fruit sommelier. And it was kind of like a running joke for a little while, but like Now I actually do like curate, buy, quality control, all the fruit inside the restaurant. So it does make sense, even if it does sound funny. And I wear that with a badge of honor. I changed my Instagram handle to Fruitsom. Follow me at Fruitsom. I'm like one of the few people in this restaurant that have like a deep interpersonal like relation to fruit. Cutting fruit to order during service is kind of a nightmare because there's so many things that are going on at the same time. So I'll cut enough to have some backup, and I'll plate roughly maybe like 4 or 5. And then that way, in case we do get fired on some during service, we'll have some fruit on backup. Now we're gonna cut our dragon fruit. So I like to go white, yellow into red because the red one will stain my knife, and if I cut red into a white one, it will stain the fruit completely. So these are dragon eyes. They're called long an in Cantonese, which literally translates directly to dragon and eye. They're called dragon eyes because if you split them open like this, they have a black pit in the center and the flesh is kind of translucent. So it looks like a dragon's eyeball. These are lychees. And I kind of do them the same way I do the long an. And these ones taste like rose water mixed with citrus. I like cutting them like this because they kind of look like little acorns. It'd be kind of boring if it was just like a bunch of like cut squares of fruit. So I like to have a little bit of fun in the way we like cut the stuff. I'm gonna plate a couple up so that we're ready for service. I like to start big to small so that way I can create gaps for the smaller fruit to sit inside of. You want it to look like bountiful without looking crowded, and you want it to look full without feeling like overwhelming. Add a couple last touches and then I'm gonna wrap these up for service. And it's 3 p.m. right now and I need to get started on family meal ASAP. Okay, so I'm kind of running late, but I just brought up a bunch of stuff for family. Today we're gonna have tacos. I'm gonna make tacos because when we were at the market earlier, I saw a bunch of really, really cheap avocados and I wanted to make guac, so we're gonna have guac and tacos. We usually have a lot of excess rib meat from the scraps from the McRib. I'm just gonna throw them on the plancha. I'm gonna chop them up like carnitas. I'm about to char a bunch of peppers to make salsa because we don't really have any tomatoes in-house. Whatever I can find in-house and whatever we're not running low on, I can use for family meal. There's no rules. The only rule is that I get it up in time for people to eat and for us to open service. I personally put a lot of effort into my family meal just because I don't want to feed our staff garbage. If they eat bad, they're gonna feel bad and then we're gonna have a bad service. I'm gonna char a bunch of stuff over the wok now. Family meal is usually left up to the lowest guy on the totem. Here, whoever comes in earliest is usually the guy who works the middle shift, which is the shift I'm working today. A lot of the time, I don't really know how much I should make for family meal. I would rather there be leftovers that people could take home than make not enough food for everybody because everybody's got to eat, you know? So I'm usually making food for between like 14 to 17 people a day inside of 1 hour. So it's not always the easiest thing to do, which is why it's important to keep all your tasks like nice and tight. These are the avocados you saw me buy earlier today at the fruit market. It's gonna be a quick mix. So we're gonna add a little bit of lemon juice because we don't have limes here. I'm gonna add a little cilantro, some onions, salt. And because we are a Chinese restaurant, we'll throw a little MSG in there. I think you have to perform well under pressure for almost any line cook job. Not for the faint of heart. I'm gonna get the salsas in the blender, then rib tips on the plancha. I'm a little bit nervous that I won't make it in time, but we'll see. So these are our rib tips. They're the waste that comes from the McRib. We're just gonna treat it like carnitas and I'm gonna let it run for the next 5 or so minutes while I finish up the rest of the sauces here. One of the family meals I made once ended up on our menu for a special. It was a long hot pepper stuffed with the fish paste, which is something I ate growing up. Sometimes you're just like around and you find out, you know what I mean? I think family is a great time to do a little bit of R&D. You're just be in a kitchen setting, like work with things that you probably normally wouldn't get the chance to work with. Oh, gochugaru. Think like toasted red pepper flakes from an Italian restaurant, but from Korea. I don't know if this is gonna be any good. That's pretty tasty. So that's almost family. 2 sauces and a guac, and I gotta get these ribs all chopped up. All the meat is already cooked because we steamed it. I threw some orange juice, some lemon juice, salt, and MSG in here. I'm just gonna coat it up, and then we're about ready to go on family. Dinner's ready. I'm just lighting the oven. I'm so large that I actually can't see the pilot light, so I kind of just go in here and I pray to God and I keep clicking the button. There we go. All right, so it's 4:30 now. We're getting our final push before service. You can see everyone behind me is pushing really hard to get their meat set up. So we got 4 of us back here. It's 3 of us on the line and 1 person at the pass. But right now, we just gotta finish putting stuff away. My station is middle station, which means that I help both sides. So I help pick up fish on the steam side, or I can help pick up things off the wok because I know how to work both. Mainly, I'm responsible for picking up ribs and finishing everybody's dishes. We're all pushing really hard right now. We have about 25 minutes before our doors open. I think the most important skill set for a line cook to have is a sense of urgency and a sense of organization. Right in here is our congee. So we have all the toppings for our congee set up directly across. It's about creating paths of least distance between 2 places. That's how you be ruthlessly efficient.
Line check in 5 minutes. Make sure you have Sannies, and I'll taste all the broths and congee too.
Yes, chef. All right, so I got chef in the window pressing us for time to get set up. Doors open in 5 minutes, and the dining room's gonna fill up real quick. So we're gonna get our final checks done, and we're gonna have a good service. All right, guys, it's 5 o'clock. I hope you guys got to see what it's like being a line cook. I hope I made it look easy. Bye-bye.
The po' boy's important to the city of New Orleans because New Orleans made it. Something that was just rooted in New Orleans history that kind of bubbled up from the streets. It turned into like everyday life. People have to do it. They have to get their po' boy fix. Parkway has been here for over 100 years and it's outlasted generation. I've been here 20 years and I don't want to do anything else. So when I wake up on a Saturday morning, I know we're going to put out 1,500 or 2,000 sandwiches. I don't sweat it. New Orleans comes to me every single day and I get a chance to feed. Hey, I'm Justin Kennedy, General Manager of Parkway Bakery and Tavern, and you are in my apartment right above the restaurant. It's about 7 a.m. I have 2 bread delivery trucks bringing 700 loaves of bread, and all I gotta do is walk right down these stairs and meet them. So I get a double order of bread on Saturday. So what we have coming right now, 7 on the dot, this is John Gindusa. And they invented the po' boy loaf for the streetcar strikers back in 1929. What's going on, man?
What's up, man?
How you doing?
What's up?
Good to see you.
What's up,
Ready for a busy day?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna give you a hand with it. Don't let it fool you. This bread's not light. Backing up is Leidenheimer. They've been around since the 1800s. They're one of the original bakers in the city. They didn't invent the po' boy, but they make it right too. So we built it to 70. Each one's 10. So that's 700 loaves. So each loaf will do 6 smalls or 3 larges. We're looking to do close to 3,000 sandwiches between today, Saturday, and tomorrow, Sunday. What's up, Andrew? How are you, man? So while I'm doing this by myself right now, that's one thing about living here, being on top of the business, because look, my crew works, they get here at 8 in the morning, they're here till 7 at night, you know, so they're working close to 10 hours, 11 hours a day. So I'm here in the morning to catch some odds and ends. When I crack this baby open, look at that. Looks like cotton candy, melt in your mouth. When you load it up with shrimp, oysters, catfish, sloppy roast beef, and pilot high, this just disintegrates and melts in your mouth. So you're not eating heavy, dense bread, but it's strong enough to hold it. That's the beauty of New Orleans French bread. The Great Depression hit a lot of people, streetcar drivers. When these guys weren't getting paid, they went on strike. And former streetcar conductors, Benny and Clovis Martin, and said, look, you come down to the Martin Brothers grocery store, you show your badge, we'll feed you. We'll feed our poor boys. And they were baking French bread as well, but the bread was wide in the middle and skinny on the ends, like a football. John Gindusa came up with a 36-inch loaf back in 1929, consistently the same size from beginning to end. And this is what they still bake today. You see it this morning, by the end of the day, all this will be gone. In about an hour, I got 2 team members coming to slice this up, get it ready for service. But now, I don't want to be surprised, so we're gonna go look and see what kind of orders we have for today on online and parties. You're in Parkway's main bar. This is original OG bar. It's been around since like the opening day, which was like around 1911. This is the most sought after place to sit in the restaurant. There's a lot of people watching. So we probably have about 6 dining spaces. So right here, we have a couple small ones, a couple of bigger ones. Between, all these spaces we have here, we probably have 300 seats. So it's a little early, but sometimes a lot of orders come through online, and we have parties that come through in big orders. So I like to go check those first. So this is what we got going on for today. Looks like we got 30 people. That's at 11 o'clock. That's no big deal. We got 12 noon pickup order for Alex. That's about 20 sandwiches. That's no big deal. And then we got another 30 at 11:45. We could probably put that out in about 10-15 minutes. If we have 30 sandwiches and they're all shrimp po' boys, I'll tell everybody on the line, hey, everybody make 5 shrimp. And we can get that 30 sandwich done in 4 minutes or 5 minutes. This is in November. We have like a wedding reception. So we're also gonna go to the office and we're gonna check the online orders. So this office is pretty big. My cousin has a spot, my mother has a spot, my uncle has a spot. We got about 20 orders. You can see what's going on ahead of time, but the ticket will fire 15 minutes. So even though there's one already in for 11:55, it's gonna fire at 11:40. I'll look for the ones like this one. This is $181. So you wanna make sure you might have a little bit more than 15 minutes to get that out. I'll go ahead and print it out and have it ready for the team to know that's coming in. All right, so it's 8:15, and we're about to go pick up one of our employees. We're going to get Mr. Purcell Ford. He's been with us for about 12 years, and he is, at the least to say, a character. He's about 73, and he just had a kidney transplant. And I donated a kidney to my brother about 10 years ago. So, I know what he's been going through, and he's back to work. As a GM, look, it's not my responsibility to pick staff members up and bring them to work, and I don't do that. But Parkway's nothing without the people in it making it happen every day. You want to make sure your people are taken care of, and I do my best. I'm not perfect, but I do my best to make sure my team knows I love them, I care about them. Because we're gonna come up here and take a left, and we're gonna land right on Frenchman Street. And it's music club after music club after music clubs. You're sitting in the front, man.
My name is Purcell Ford. The ladies call me Purcell.
I call him Ford, an old ass man. What you say when I call you an old ass man?
Live to get old. That's all right. You got to do.
Live to get old.
Just keep on living. You'll get old one day. And I seen Parkway. I say, let me go over there and put an application in. I say, well, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm one of the best fry cooks in the city. My name is well known all over the quarters. So I went to work, and Kennedy said, you know what, Ford? I was there for about 2 or 3 years frying. I was a little younger. And he said, you're the best fried cook that don't came through the door. I say, I appreciate that, but all jokes aside, you got to pay me like that. But like I say, it's a nice place to work for, and I appreciate everything he done for me. You know?
We open in 30 minutes, man. Let's get to work. Stop all that talking, man.
Well, you see what I'm saying about it? All right, gentlemen. I'm gonna holler at y'all later. Y'all stay cool.
Go in there and psych them up. Get them all happy for us.
All right, babe. I hear you.
Thank you, man. So it's about 9 o'clock. It's about an hour before we open the doors. I'm about to go prep some roast beef. Hello, Miss Dawn. We're constantly prepping throughout the day in these back kitchens to feed the main one to get the sandwiches out. And you're in the roast beef kitchen, so that's all we do in here. We'll do roast beef, and we'll cook about 400 pounds a day. So this roast beef is for the signature sandwich at Parkway Bakery, the roast beef po' boy. It's smothered in gravy. Put it on a sandwich with mayo. That French bread I showed you, toasted just right, can't beat it. I mean, look at this. This is chuck roast. I mean, we do about 2,000 pounds a week, close to a ton a week. And chuck roast is very fatty. There's grains going all over the place. It's best known and best uses for hamburgers. But in this case, if you cook it low and slow, all that fat melts away into the gravy and you're left with flavor. We cooked this roast beef, we put it in at about 6 o'clock yesterday evening, and we take it out about 8 o'clock in the morning. So about 14 to 16 hours, this roast comes out just like this, where it's just, I mean, literally falling apart. Even though I can take my hands and just pull it apart, that's not how you want to serve it. When you're pulling it right now, all this moisture is leaving the meat and it's going to dry it out. So you want it to cool solidly together, slice it cool, put that gravy on it, put it on the line. It just makes a sloppy, great sandwich. I'm going to put this on this pan and then wheel it to the cooler. Catch that door for me, young fella. And you see, here's our chilled from the day before. So this chilled roast beef is going back to the kitchen we just left to be sliced. You see how nice that breaks and nice and tender? It's not stringy or pulley like if I was to pull it while it was hot. And all that moisture is still in the slice because I never cracked the meat open when it was finished cooking. So the roast beef po' boy was just about the original po' boy invented for the striking streetcar workers. They took the scraps of meat and the gravy and put fried potatoes on the French bread, and we still have that sandwich today. It's actually a pretty good seller. We call it the streetcar po' boy. So this is the thin au jus that came off the meat before we thicken it. So this is the gravy before thickened. Oven set to 350 degrees. Throw that in there for about 30, 35 minutes, and it's that Parkway roast beef everybody loves. So this is just one, but we have a whole bunch in this oven that Brandon put in that's about to come out. So when Brandon takes all this roast out, he's gonna head over into the main kitchen that we pump the sandwiches out of. He's gonna fill all 6 sandwich makers' hot wells up with that roast beef and barbecue beef and gravy to get ready for service. So the roast beef's all on the line, service underway here, so I'm gonna get in the kitchen and start making some sandwiches. All right, y'all, it's 10:30. It's not quite lunch rush yet, but things are starting to kick off, and right now is a good time where a lot of my employees go take their breaks before the lunch rush hits. So I usually jump in here and help out. All right, so this is the main kitchen. All the sandwiches are made. This section of the kitchen goes from the main register prints to this ticket, and everything is on the line, from the roast beef, barbecue beef, meatballs, shrimp. Every sandwich maker can make every sandwich. There's no certain station. So that's what's a beauty about it. That's how we can get them out. A lot of kitchens have a lot of different stations, like a seafood station or a sliced meat station. But here, there's so many people in this tight spot. It's faster and it's just more efficient. Every person can turn and do everything for one ticket. They're not waiting on someone else to complete their order. You know, each sandwich maker probably does a few hundred sandwiches in a span. We have one person dedicated to frying shrimp. I mean, this is a 20-foot hood. You can see about 15 foot of it is just dedicated to shrimp. And that's all Reggie's doing today. He'll probably fry about 500 pounds of shrimp today. There's no wet batter, there's no egg wash. We take that natural salty juice from the shrimp, and that's light corn flour, a little salt, pepper, cayenne in there. And when he drops a basket, I mean, he's dropping about 5 or 6 sandwiches right there. So right now, I'm making a shrimp po' boy dressed. This is one of our high volume, most popular sandwiches. Dressed is lettuce, tomato, mayo, and pickle. You wanna make sure you get it corner to corner. So we got this fried shrimp. We're gonna put that on there, and our most popular sandwiches are not pre-measured or pre-weighed like a burger patty or some deli meat that's weighed. It's made by hand and by feel. We don't wanna measure it and have a little cup and put a cup of shrimp in there. That's skimpy. And if stuff's falling out, that's fine. Just wrap it up. So what we have here is the OG, the signature roast beef. And they want it dressed. I mean, that's pretty much the standard. Tomato, pickle, and then this one, here's your roast beef. I mean, that's what we saw this morning. Put that on it. And then when I put that gravy I was telling you about, you put that on top of it and it just latches onto it. Look how delicious that looks. So this one's gonna be the James Brown, and it's pepper jack cheese, but the key to this one is not just putting the cheese on there. We run this cheese in the broiler. You can see it's nice and melty, and that little step right there makes a huge difference. So this is the barbecue beef. Then we're gonna run it down with this shrimp. It's like a poor man's steak and lobster. So the next thing we're gonna do is put some more barbecue sauce on it. And then the last thing is we're gonna put that spicy mayo on it. I mean, don't tell me that don't look good. And that's the James Brown, award winner. This boy right here. I mean, yeah, you're looking at like 28 ounces right here. So this is a good 1.5 pounds right here in your belly. All my team's about done taking their breaks. So I'm gonna finish these few tickets right here. And when they're done, I'm gonna jump on Expo. It's 12:30. We in the heart of the kitchen where it goes down. I'm battling out with my team. It's mid-lunch rush. It's real busy. So expediting that Parkway is a little different from other restaurant expediter. The Expo is dropping the fries. The Expo's dropping all the call foods, burgers, chicken, sausage, grilled cheeses, hot hams, hot turkeys. And then that put it together with all the sides and fries and sell it out the window. Most expediters are on the other side of the line grabbing plates, putting things together. In this sense, the expediter is actually behind the line cooking and working with the team. It's like a hybrid of an expediter and line cook in one. So we like to keep a 10 to 15 minute ticket time, which it looks like that's about where we're at right now. So behind each line, you'll see a grill. Like right now, we got a burger about done. What's on that burger? American. American? Yeah, so this grill is very important. You know, we're listening to the calls. You got to be very, very attentive when you're one of our expediters. If you're not an attention to detail kind of person, you won't last being a Parkway bakery. I used to be, my spot was right there where Manny is. I used to be on that spot all day, every day, you know, when I was a kid. I've worked every spot in this kitchen. My favorite spot is Expo. When I'm looking out at this ticket board, I'm making sure everybody's keeping up. I'm making sure the fry man's keeping up, the bread person's keeping up, the flow's going right. You need one more, right? Yeah. Mostly watching the flow, watching the ticket time. Looks like my crew has it over here, so we're gonna go check some other spaces in the restaurant and the online and the outdoors. So it's about 1:30 and we're on our pre-order drive-through. You can see way in the distance over there, that young man, that's Sal. He's like the parking lot maitre d', guiding all the online and phone traffic. Basically, this came out of COVID when it was all to go and no one could come in. We had the space to develop this to-go system that evolved into something that's like epic. You order on the online app from your house, he's mic'd up to the kitchen and that order's ready and they're gonna pull him up and then Adam's gonna come out here right to the blinking light and they're gonna get their food and go. I don't see a lot of my regulars anymore. I didn't know what happened to them. Like, where are my regulars? If you go hang in that booth with Sal, that's where they are. They're coming through the drive-thru. It's like a whole nother restaurant we've opened up doing this and we'll serve hundreds of people. We used to be open till 10 o'clock. Now we're only open till 6. One of the reasons we can close early and do the same numbers as open till 10 o'clock is this drive-through. It's phenomenal how many people it turns out. All these spots are numbered, 1 through 90. If it's not ready, we'll park them and we'll run it to them in that golf cart right there.
Got a pickup for Jack in there?
Jack's almost ready. Go ahead and park them and we'll bring it right to him, Sal.
I'm gonna put Jack in number 39, all right?
Sounds good, I'm gonna check on it. Yeah, so this works good when it's raining. You know, people don't want to get out their car. Some people use it as a car hop. 39, so this must be Jack right here. Jack? All right, man. Roast beef.
I appreciate it, thank you.
Hey, have a good one, man. Easy as that. All right, so it's 2 o'clock. Things have slowed down a little bit. So I jumped up here in our prep kitchen to make some jambalaya, and we're gonna make about 200 pounds of chicken and sausage jambalaya. We use about 40 pounds of sausage. This recipe came from a barbecue team I'm on called Silence of the Hams. And it's for a fundraiser called Hogs for the Cause. We raise money for pediatric brain cancer on a big barbecue team. So we're gonna fire this big boy up. And what this is a tilt skillet. And it's basically just a big pot. So when you fill it up, whatever you want to, you can tilt it and get rid of the product and easily put it in pans. So first thing to do, we're gonna melt 2 pounds of butter. So here in Creole cooking in Louisiana, they call it the Holy Trinity, like the Father, Son, the Holy Ghost. Your onion, your bell pepper, and your celery. But then we throw the garlic in there too. That makes it a little bit holier. About 15 pounds here. And now it's gonna start coming together. When that fat starts rendering out that sausage and getting into that veg, and it's very important you do it like this. Cook your veg first, render that down with the butter. Then cook your sausage down, render that down with the sauteed vegetables. If you just throw it all in there, fill it up with water, put your rice in, you're not gonna get that flavor like if you were to do it in this step process. Because what's happening right now, that fat's getting cooked, rendering out of that sausage and soaking up in the vegetables. And if you did it on and just boiled it and cooked it without rendering, that fat could just end up floating on the top and not actually in it. Me and my wife and my baby, I can't just cook for us. I always gotta cook for a ton of people. I love the production, I love the volume aspect of it, just because I've been around it. If I was cooking one little pan of jambalaya, it'd drive me crazy. I don't even know if I'd know how to do it. I gotta cook in bulk. And this here is about 25 pounds of chicken. This will serve about 350 people, this will serve. All right, so our jambalaya is ready. I mean, you can look at it and tell this is some creamy jambalaya. I mean, jambalaya is like, it goes back centuries. It's just like a inexpensive, delicious meal. And if you look at most of the meals that Louisiana is known for, jambalaya, gumbo, po' boys, they're derived off something that's inexpensive, delicious, and super filling. All right, guys, it's about 4 o'clock. As you can see, it's starting to slow down. It's time for y'all to go. I've had a lot of fun with y'all, but I gotta get some prep to do for tomorrow.
Providence is a 2-star Michelin restaurant in the heart of Hollywood. There's only a couple of other restaurants in the city that has 2 Michelin stars. I started as the head pastry chef at Providence when I was 23 years old. In a tasting menu restaurant, everybody gets a dessert. So if you have 80 a day, you gotta have 80 desserts a day. We have to be very fast. There's only 2 of us in the morning to do prep, so we have to be efficient and ready to get to work. Hi, welcome to Providence. My name is Mac. I'm the pastry chef. Come on in. The menu that we serve here is a 10-course tasting menu. So as a pastry chef here, 2 of them my responsibility. There's a lot to do. I gotta get started. Good morning. Providence is a seafood restaurant that primarily focuses on wild-caught, sustainable seafood. That's the fish side. That's where all the fish, seafood dishes get worked on. And this is the meat side. I don't have to fight for space in the morning, but at night, it's a free-for-all. It's 8 a.m. and the first thing I do is check the low boys and our reach-in the back. I'm looking for anything that's gone bad, or I'm checking what we need to make today or get ready to make for tomorrow. This is a peach syrup that we use for the peach dessert. I'm gonna taste that to make sure it's okay. And there's dates on them, but you wanna confirm it by tasting it. I have Premu here that I know I made last week. And this side, we have a bunch of our bulky prep. I'm just checking for ice cream that I need to bring upstairs. So this is the cocoa husk gelato. Now I've checked all our logos and reach-in. I'm gonna write the prep list. So for us at Providence, at least for the pastry department, we kind of break it down between like the desserts. We have a pre-dessert and the chocolate dessert and all the component that goes in that dessert. And if I need to make it, I'll write it down here where it says we need to make it, or if I don't, we'll put a dash on it. We don't need to make it. So what I'll do now is put our initials in individual tasks so we both know where the day will lead us to. Do you want to make the mousse today? I take on the projects that take the longest amount of time to kind of know the ins and out of the recipes. Okay, that's it. I'll go change. Okay, see you in a bit, Naomi. Behind. Morning, Matt. Oh, the peaches came in. Are they good?
Pretty good.
Pretty much I start my day up here and I end my day up here. I'm gonna Paco the ice cream that needs to be used for service. The ice cream base that we make, we freeze them in these specialized beakers. This is a California almond sorbet for the peach dessert. Once they're pretty much rock solid, you put them in this container with a blade, and the blade spins so fast that it creates a very smooth ice cream. Just delicious. We do it in the morning so that it has time to set for service. When I go up here, I Paco, and then throughout the day, I'll be going up here, I'll check the ice cream, and I'll bring it down when it's ready. This is where we dry age the fishes. We have 2 separate dry ager for seafood or fish, and then 1 for proteins like duck or meat. Anytime that I go up here, which is pretty much every morning, any tasks that are up here while I'm pacoing the ice cream, I will do. Today's Paul's birthday, one of our sous chefs, so we're making him a cake. Even though I am the pastry chef, I still make people's birthday cake. We make our own chocolate at Providence. This has been going for about 3 days. The melanger really is designed to refine small batches of chocolate. This is actually one of our newest origin, Indonesia. This is a test batch to see if it's origin that we want to use. So this is a grindometer. We're gonna put a little bit of chocolate up here and we're gonna swipe it down. And we're usually aiming for 10 to 15 microns, and it's actually pretty there. That's where the chocolate starts mostly breaking up. This is ready. We'll empty it later on when we finish downstairs. This is the half spear Hawaiian chocolate mousse. That's the base of the chocolate dessert. Usually the morning after we make them, whoever is up here, usually me, will unmold them. We make sure that we work really efficient. There's only 4 people in the pastry team, and it's a lot of work really. So kind of want to make sure that you're working very efficient. This is lemon verbena patafouille. In English, patafouille means fruit dough, but really it's just jelly. Usually it's made with fruit, but here we have lemon verbena from the garden. I'll lay them out in a rack like this so the outside can desiccate a little bit. These we just got today. You never want to squeeze your peaches. It's gonna bruise them. You're looking for around this area for it to not be green. When you smell it, it smells like a ripe peach. Next thing I need to do is get these peaches ready for the peach dessert. But before that, we gotta grab some herbs in the garden. We're literally on the famous Melrose Avenue, smack dab in the middle of Hollywood. We also have our very own bee neighbors. I don't want to mess with them. Right now, the bees are very active. This is their time to collect pollen. So this is red shiso we're using for the peach dessert. This is what we poach the peaches with. This is white alyssum. We use it to garnish the peach dessert. We're gonna pick it for service tonight. Speaking of bourbon, we're in the middle of our vents. But we do have like the lemon verbena out here. This we use for the patafouille that I cut. When I'm feeling like writer's block, I'm out here trying to figure out what dessert I should do next. It's very inspirational when you're out here. It's very peaceful. You get a lot of ideas. So now I have all the herbs I need. It's time to head back to the kitchen. So right now, the peaches are the best as they can be. It's very nostalgic to have a poached peach dessert. The peaches are cut in half. We'll finish it with alyssum flowers, top with almond sorbet that we pacoed earlier, and then we make a syrup out of the poaching liquid that's poured tableside. In the poaching liquid, we have water, sugar. I'm gonna add the sake, and then I'll add red shiso that we picked earlier, and then I'll finish it with a little bit of yuzu juice, and I'll bring it up to a boil. I'm going to blanch the peaches. Before that, I'm going to score the peach with a razor. We've been doing this dessert, at least a version of it, for about 3 years now. We used to do it with Prosecco and lemon verbena, but upstairs we have a bunch of shiso, which really works well with sake, so that's why we're doing it. So it only takes a couple of seconds. Now I'm shocking the peaches so that they don't cook. You kind of just want to loosen the skin. See how it just kind of peels really nicely? We usually make about 80 peach desserts a day. I mean, at a tasting menu restaurant, you kind of have the advantage of knowing how many desserts you're going to do, but also in a tasting menu restaurant, everybody gets a dessert. So we brought the poaching liquid to a boil, and now I'm gonna add the peaches. Then we'll put a cartouche on. Such a big pot, so I'm gonna put 3. So the cartouche keeps the peaches submerged so they cook evenly. Also, sometimes the top part of the peach will pop out of the liquid and it'll turn brown, it'll oxidize. This is a French top, and if I move the pot towards the center, that is the hottest part. Now we just want to cook him very, very, very gently. So I'll pull probably half of it out of the French top itself, so that's just touching pretty much the outer part, which is the least hot. And we'll leave it there for 30 minutes. Now it's time to make the mousse. Let's go. The chocolate dessert, it starts with a half spear of chocolate mousse. We dip it in chocolate and toasted coconut, and then we'll top that with a long pepper and chocolate cremeux, garnish it with a tempered chocolate and a cocoa husk gelato, and then we'll finish it with a long pepper and chocolate croissant. On the table, the servers will finish it with a coconut and fig leaf coulis. Chocolate dessert is the main dessert. We've been serving this dessert for about a month now, but even now we're thinking of the new dessert that we'll replace it with. I'm just gonna bloom the gelatin in the cold milk and let that soften. So I'm just lightly whipping the cream, getting it ready for the mousse. And this is about how far I'm gonna take it. Almost like ribbon stage. We're gonna make the ganache. A ganache really is just chocolate emulsified with usually cream or milk. So I'm warming the milk just to melt the gelatin, and then I'll incorporate it into the chocolate. Whenever you're using the French top, it's just you're playing with the temperature. And I don't want it to boil, so I'm pulling it, and then we'll incorporate it in the chocolate. Okay, that's the ganache. So right now it's a little separated, but that's okay because we're going to use an emulsion blender to bring it back together. This mousse is definitely very light, just perfect to end your meal because it's not a heavy chocolate dessert. This mousse is gonna set up fast, so I gotta run upstairs and put them in the mold. From my experience here at Providence, in terms of our prep, we have to be very fast. There's a lot of multitasking happening. I just like getting things done. I don't want to let the station down. I was 23 when I got the pastry chef position here. It was a big surprise to me. To me, it's very unusual. The level of trust that they have to give me is a lot of pressure, but I realize I like working here. I like doing what I do here. I like the people here. Mousse are in the freezer, and now we're gonna shape the bread. This bread is our main bread for service. I'm going to start with the large bread for the bigger parties, which is 700 grams each. For the smaller parties, like from 1 or 2, they'll get a 300 gram sourdough. So we'll do 12 big loaves, and the rest of the dough will be small loaves. I like shaping the bread. I mean, everybody likes shaping the bread. So the sourdough that we make, it's made with a Tehachapi grain project, red fife, and Abruzzi rye. Their farming style is they don't water. They just let nature do the work. We've worked with the farmers, the suppliers, as long as I can remember. The relationship is definitely there. That just means we get a really good product. These are gonna rest for about 10 to 15 minutes before we do the final shaping. There's like a feel-good feeling when you come and eat and you have your own loaf of bread for some reason. So these are all done. It's time to get them in the fridge for tomorrow's service. behind you. When the clock turns around 2:30, that's chocolate time for me. So this is where I play around with chocolate. This is where I'm most creative. We started with the idea of playing around with making bean to bar chocolate around the time when COVID started. It just made sense because we weren't really doing anything. I was at home, everybody was trying to figure out what to do. I was buying different origins, planning that when we reopen that this might be something that we will be doing. I mean, I wasn't sure if I was gonna move on with this kind of project. So buying an expensive equipment wasn't really sustainable at that time. This is a champion juicer. It's a juicer for like vegetables or fruits or anything. But now nobody uses it because anything that goes through this tastes like chocolate. This contraption essentially separates the husk and the nib. When I drop mixture of the nib and husk, the heavier nib will fall down here and the husk will go into the bin. This is a very manual process because you'll have to be there and drop the cacao slowly. So obviously the nibs get turned into chocolate, but then we have a bunch of this husk left over. What we do here is we steep it with fresh mint and we serve it as a cocoa mint tea with the petit fours. So here in the chocolate melters, we have our two main origins. This first one is from Ecuador. The estate is from Hacienda Victoria. We use for the sesame snack bars. These snack bars are part of our Mignardi service, Petit Four. They're sesame praline filling with an Ecuador single origin chocolate encasing that. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish these, add the last layer of chocolate, and then we'll unmold them. I've never made chocolate until we started playing around here at Providence. Never, but it's always been in the back of my mind. That's one of the main reasons why I work here, because I am able to do stuff like this. I can explore different branches of what I do. It's an environment where you just learn. There's no fear in coming here and kind of make mistakes, really. Making chocolate like what we're doing, bean to bar or bean to dessert. I mean, bean to bar is already like a very long process, but bean to dessert is, I think, extremely long process. It involves planning ahead every single day. This is sort of like a magical process because all you gotta do is, and they all come out like that. This is very satisfying. So I'm gonna leave these in the chocolate box and one of the team members downstairs will grab them for service. It's 4:45, doors are gonna open in less than an hour. I'm going to explain the rest of the menu to the staff.
But Max going to tell you about table
10
tonight.
Hi everyone. Tonight the peaches we're serving are yellow peaches from Matsumoto Family Farms up in Fresno. The garnish we're using shiso blossoms. And then for table 10, we're serving a melon vacherin. The melons are from Weiser Family Farms with cantaloupe sorbet and just fresh cream on top of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, man.
Happy birthday to you.
Thank you, guys.
This is what I was working on earlier.
Hey. Everybody has a birthday. Mac has to make like 70 cakes a year because we have about 70 employees and everybody has a birthday. So Paul's nickname is the Panda.
So we're getting ready to plate the pre-desserts for everyone tonight. Jin, right now, she's filling the pâte sucrée tarts with salted caramel custard. She's gonna bake them in the oven, and then when they're ready and cooled, we'll finish them with the bourbon vanilla cream. So when the desserts are fired, we usually get a ticket, and that's when we know to send out the desserts. The reservations are staggered so that not all the desserts are sent out at the same time. Guests are starting to come. It's getting really busy out here. You guys have got to go. Bye. Out.
I moved here from Cairo, Egypt, to learn how to cook barbecue. I trained with a lot of pit masters here, and finally taking the moment and the chance to bring my own flavors, my own culture here to Austin. Every day we smoke about 400 pounds of meat. Managing fire is one of the most important things in becoming a pit master. This is a craft that requires a lot of time and a lot of patience. My personal definition of barbecue is anything cooked over a live fire. I'm fusing and marrying the bright and fresh and crisp flavors of the Middle East with this old tradition of Texas barbecue. This is the best decision I've ever made in my life. Good morning, y'all. This is Kareem from KG Barbecue in Austin, Texas. It's 6 a.m. on a Thursday. It's our first day of the week, so it's time to get the smoker started. Let's get going. This is King Tut right here. We decided to name each one of our smokers after Egyptian kings. This is our 1,000-gallon primitive pits barbecue smoker here. This is made out of a reused propane tank, actually, which is pretty cool. Since we haven't been cooking for the last 4 days, we're gonna throw a bag of charcoal and kind of get the process going. We use wood from Chief Firewood, a local company that actually supplies almost every barbecue restaurant in town. We use post oak wood. It's interesting with barbecue that you have to cook with seasoned wood, so the wood has to be aged for at least a year or two, so it kind of dries out and your fire is clean and crisp, not smoky and dirty. And also oak is like Texas's blessing, to be honest. I'm trying to pick some of the smaller pieces here to get the fire going. It's so therapeutic, especially starting on early mornings like this. Such an amazing craft, Texas barbecue. I literally changed my entire life for it. Now it's time for the fun part. Isn't it so nice to just start a blazing fire in the summer of Texas? I'm already sweating. So we're opening the smokestack here. That's gonna create that draw and the airflow. It's gonna help the fire get going. We're also gonna open the last door, also to get more airflow going. And as soon as I do that, if we check the fire again, you're gonna already see how it's drawn inside. The higher and bigger the smokestack, the better, because it creates more airflow and more draw, and you have a cleaner fire. Like you eat barbecue and it kind of sits with you, that means that it has been cooked on a dirty fire. Whether the wood is not seasoned enough, it's not dry enough, or there's not enough airflow in the fire, so that creates this darker smoke, and that goes on the meat. It's gonna take us about 20-25 minutes for this fire to get the whole smoker up to temperature at 275, which is our desired temperature. This is kind of like your gas pedal right now. So if I open the door, it's gonna get more airflow in. It's gonna also increase the temperature, but it lowers the temperature, in fact, because you're letting the heat escape this way. This is kind of like my sweet spot right here. I like to keep it a little bit cracked, so that's gonna keep the heat sucked in and it's gonna go the other way. All right, 6:30, we need to get the meats on right now. We have briskets seasoned overnight, and then we have our lamb bacon ribs, and then we have our lamb shoulder. So let's move on. Right, it's time to get started. These cuts take the longest time to cook, so that's why we're loading up the smoker, usually with the longest thing that takes time first. You'll see as time gets closer to opening, we're gonna start adding more things that take way less time, like sausage and lamb chops. What we're cooking today is gonna be served the next day. So first thing, we got the grates here cleaned, brushed. The biggest reason why we clean the grates is because it gives it a cleaner sear. The first thing you gotta do when you start cooking on a new smoker is really to figure out where your hot zones are and your middle and your low zones. Like here, we have cuts that take a long time, so I can't really cook it on a hot zone because it's gonna burn, it's gonna char, and it's not gonna be done. We're gonna go ahead and start loading briskets, and they take the longest time to cook. This is the thermometer probe that is Bluetooth. It's a handheld thermometer that we're gonna be using throughout the day, so we don't have to come out here and check the temperature on the smoker all the time. On our smoker here, our hottest zone is closest to the fire. And it's interesting because this is also a hot zone. I think it's just the way the air flows and it kind of goes and draws up the chimney or the smokestack. So this right here is our smoked lamb shoulder. This is currently my favorite meat on the menu right now. So this looks just like a pork butt or a pork shoulder, but it's lamb. We use a lot of lamb in Egypt. Very few barbecue joints here in Texas cook lamb. And I really thought this was a great thing to do here because you can grind it, you can skewer it. We have actually 4 different lamb options on the menu. The second lamb option we have is the lamb bacon ribs. This is basically like the pork spare ribs, but from lamb. So you can see it has a lot of that nice belly fat on it, and it gets really nice and crispy on the outside, and it's super tender and fatty on the inside. We probably have about 150 pounds of meat on the smoker. Just another day in Texas. All right, we're gonna come back later to wrap them. We gotta get some more pork ribs seasoned, and then we gotta get briskets and lamb bacon seasoned for tomorrow. So let's get going. Here we got a brisket. The brisket is actually the chest muscle of the cow. It's a pretty big, hunky piece of meat. It actually has 2 different muscles, and that is one of the reasons why it's a little bit of a challenging cut to cook. It has the point and the flat, or the moist and the lean, and they are both separated by the fat decal, which starts here and comes out the other way right here. I'm using a 6-inch boning knife and a honing steel. Always keep it sharp. In the summer, the quality kind of drops because the cows don't eat as much as the winter time. So you can see like briskets get kind of smaller, and that's why we just keep changing and we keep talking to our suppliers on how we can make our product even better, especially the brisket. The brisket has a lot of fat on it. Like I said, this is gonna be the first thing that I tackle here. This is the decal fat. That's really, really good for making sausage actually. So we save almost the entire trimmings and cleanings to make the skewered koftas. We season it and we add onion, garlic, spices, nutmeg, coriander, fenugreek, and then we grind it and skewer it and cook it on the smoker. And then for the pork ribs, the trimmings we use to make our homemade sausage as well. So I'm gonna start kind of taking all that silver skin. So this is the only thing that we don't really use, the silver skin. This is fascia. This is what controls the muscles and kind of gives it a spasm or makes it move around. If you cook a thin ribeye steak or a New York strip steak and it curls up on you in the skillet, it's because of that fascia. So as you can see, I'm really not shy when I'm trimming here. We trim and we tie and we truss meats because they're not necessarily shaped so that they cook most evenly. There's also the other reason of trying to make all of the briskets on the smoker kind of uniform to where they all cook at the same time. And then the second part is just making sure that we have the right amount of fat on top of the brisket. Probably about like 1/4, 1/3 of an inch of fat that should be all over the entire brisket. All right, so moving on, we got our next meat here. This is the lamb bacon ribs. It's the rib cage, and it also has the belly on it, and it's been flying off the shelf right now. All right, so the trimming the lamb bacon ribs is a little tricky here. We're trying to take the bone off actually. So I'm gonna go in with my knife right here. One of my stops here in Austin to learn from the masters in Texas, I worked at Salt and Thyme Butcher Shop. I learned one of these cool random things here, that this grip is called the pistol grip, and this is kind of like, it's the best grip that you can use to kind of like maneuver your way around bones. So I'm gonna make a score this way. And you have no idea the amount of people and the number of people that show up to the food truck and be like, oh, I've never tried lamb before. I was like, great. You're like, come here, I got you. The lamb chops have about 7 different spices on it. And then we smoke it. So it takes away all that gaminess. It's cooked to medium or medium rare. It's a great introduction for people here. I'm gonna go ahead and take all of the meat off here. This is all usable meats. Moving on. So now we're done with the lamb bacon ribs. So you can see it's all nice and clean, and then we're gonna season everything. We're gonna start by seasoning the brisket. I always like to season everything presentation side last. So we always cook brisket fat side up. We're gonna use a mustard slather This doesn't do anything to the flavor at all. It just provides us with this nice, tacky, moist surface that the dry seasonings can stick on better. So here we have our brisket rub. Our brisket rub is pretty simple and basic. In Central Texas, it's all about salt, pepper. We add a little bit of garlic and oregano. So I'm gonna start seasoning the sides first. And the way that I do that, I kind of like, you almost see me like season my hand and tap it in the brisket. The brisket is the only thing on our menu that is more traditional. So you'll see a lot of different spices on the pork ribs and the lamb. Everybody tells me like what makes KG barbecue different, what makes it Egyptian. I always like point to the spice rights. But with brisket, I like to keep it as traditional as possible because I want to pay my dues to respect this cut that I've moved across the entire world for. This is considered a dry brine here. We let that sit overnight. You see me when I pick it up, nothing falls off because of the mustard binder. We host brisket classes here once a month at the food truck, just giving back what I've learned and sharing this knowledge and this food with the people is what I live for, really. You know, I tried barbecue over 10 years ago now. 2012 was my first experience. And back then I was working in corporate finance. I was working as a banker in Cairo. I loved cooking barbecue, but barbecue is very different in the Middle East. It's all about hot and fast cooking. But then I came here and I tried barbecue and I was blown away by the experience. And I went back to Cairo and I couldn't stop thinking about it. I couldn't stop thinking about specifically brisket though. I wanted more, I needed more. So I decided that I want to quit my job and move to Texas and learn from the pros here in Austin. All right, so now we're gonna season the lamb shoulder. We always use coarse spices because that is what creates the crispy bark on the outside. In Egypt, almost everything is marinated because everything is grilled. But when on a smoker, you almost need a dry rub because if you put marinated meats on the smoker, it's a wet surface. So it's not gonna have a good, nice crust on the outside. Grabbing our pork ribs here. These are pomegranate glazed pork ribs. Doing a sriracha slather. Unlike the mustard, sriracha does add flavor, color, and a little bit of heat. Legally, you can't sell pork in Egypt. You can buy it privately. It's almost like you have to know a guy to get some pork in Egypt. The majority of Egypt is like 90% Muslim right now, and pork is not something that Muslims eat. So once the pork ribs are wrapped and cooked on the smoker, once we unwrap them, we glaze them with our pomegranate barbecue sauce, which is what we're about to make right now. Let's get to it. So we got our trusty pomies here. This is pomegranate juice. So the pomegranate barbecue sauce, it's kind of like everything we do here, is a Texas style ketchup based barbecue sauce. So we start with pomegranate juice, and then to that we're gonna add the pomegranate molasses. This is one of the best ingredients. It has this like sour pomegranate tanginess to it. So now we're gonna add the spice mix here to kind of facilitate our processes here in the food truck. We love making kits for everything. So we have our spice that has salt, lots of brown sugar, and it has garlic, onion, sumac, cinnamon, and then apple cider vinegar, Dijon mustard, Worcestershire, I hope I said it right this time, and sriracha in here. All these ingredients are kind of classic things that you add to barbecue sauce, and it adds a little bit of consistency, like a little bit more thicker body to the sauce. And then we'll just boil it for maybe 5 minutes, and then we'll turn off the heat. And this will probably last us less than 2 days. Every day we have to make a batch. We're about to double that up so that we're just making it twice a week because things are getting busier every day. All right, it's 8:30 now. I'm gonna go check on the smoker, add a couple more logs on the fire, and then we're gonna come back and get the line ready for service. Right now, we have to maintain the fire at 275. So we kind of give it some love. Every time I come out here, I just kind of make sure that the fire looks good. I now kind of got it to a system where I can tell how hot the fire is when I open the door, actually. It gets more resistance when it's hot. Like, pretty good right now, but I'm gonna go ahead and add a couple more logs. We're gonna go in and kind of rearrange the coals here. So you can see me kind of breaking down the older logs that have been turning into coals already. I'm gonna put the two big ones on the side and my smallest one is gonna go in the middle. I don't want it to be sunken and buried in the coals. I need airflow. Now we're gonna add probably just one more log would be good. So this is the part where you take a deep breath and close your eyes. Just to get that on. And we're about to add some of our hot cooking items like the chicken, the kofta, and the sausage. This is what we call the hell door. This door gets really, really, really hot. So now Davini is loading up our smoked chicken thighs. It's one of our meats that have just a little bit of a spice kick to it. The smoke can be really hard to work with, but contacts are like magic. Just wear your contacts every day. It's about time to glaze the ribs. They've been on the smoker and we wrapped them up and now they are done. So I'm gonna come in here and open it up. The classic 3-2-1 method. They have been cooking for 3 hours. We wrap them for 2 hours until they're tender and soft. The way we check for the doneness here, I can show you. So you wanna see this bend on the rack of ribs. It's like feels a little more elastic. And then you wanna see this draw here. The meat is drawing a little bit from the bones and it's kind of like soft to the touch. So these look beautiful. We're about to glaze them. Pomegranate barbecue sauce. Nice thick layer. So the sugar in the molasses is gonna cook down and I give it a nice sticky, dark and vivid color. I don't really even brush it. And for the amateur cooks and the beginner barbecuers, there's something that's called the stall. And this is when the meat reaches well done temperature, which is about 170 internal. The moisture and the water starts to push out and evaporate and then cool down the brisket. And it's just like an hour of just 170. It's not rising because of that evaporation and the cooling. But for a cut like brisket, you actually need to take it way past well done at 200 degrees and then let it sit there for a little bit before it's actually done. We start to wrap to push through the stall and kind of finish cooking without drying out the brisket. And that really applies for all the meats, really. About 8 hours in when we wrap the brisket. Right now it's about 3 hours in. All right, it's 9:30 right now. Let's go get the line ready for service. So over here, I can walk you through the line. We have our hot box. This is really where all the money is controlled temperature, and then it goes anywhere from 80 degrees all the way up to 200 degrees Fahrenheit. We use this hot box to rest the meats overnight and have them ready in the morning. You need to rest the meat because of the reason that all of the fibers and all of the juices are kind of running around like crazy once the meat comes off of the heat. And your ideal time, resting time, is half the amount of time that you took to cook the meat. So first thing, I want to make some rice. Here in the rice cooker, our batch of rice is half a gallon of rice. I'm gonna add half a cup of butter to that. And then we have a rice kit. This has salt, turmeric, cinnamon sticks, and bay leaves. Each single grain needs to be coated in the melted fat and then the spices as well. And then it's super aromatic. As soon as we open the rice pot, when the rice is done, you can smell that. The most popular dish that we have right now is the brisket rice bowl. It has a bed of our Mediterranean rice, and then it has the meat on it. Baladi salad, which is bright, fresh cucumber, tomato, onion, mint, creamy tahini sauce. We top it off with candied toasted nuts. And then last but not least, my favorite ingredients, the pomegranate seeds. So you get that nice, sweet, savory crunch. Now it's time to get some water for the rice to start cooking. So one of the biggest struggles of working out of a food truck is the water situation. So we have a fresh water tank down here. And once it's empty, we have to fill it up. So we have a gray water tank outside of the truck that we have to empty it 4 to 5 times a day. We now have a designated full-time dishwasher, and he does that. And after a lot of testing with the rice cooker, we found that 9 cups of water is the right measure. Go ahead and turn this on. Moving on, and we're gonna put some water here in the steam well, and maybe about 15 to 20 minutes before service, we're gonna start chopping some brisket and some chicken because we don't want it to sit too long before we serve it. Now it's time to get the sandwich French here ready with all of the sides. So everything is coming off the smoker right now, and it's gonna start to get stacked in the hot box. So the dressing that I just added to the baladi is made from salt, vinegar, and cumin. It's very basic, but it's very bright and fresh. In my opinion, barbecue is amazing, but it's also an hugely unbalanced meal. Like, it's a meal where the sides are even richer and heavier than the meats themselves. And that's kind of what makes us different here with how light and crisp and bright our flavors and our sides are. When it's busy, maybe every hour we'll make the same amount. It's time to put on my service apron. All right, as you can see, we have a full house here on the truck right now. Everybody's busy getting to work, putting the final touches here on prep, and we're about ready to start serving. I'm gonna go check on the meats real quick. All right, let's see what we got here. Briskets are already looking amazing. Got a nice bark going on. The meat is pulling a little bit back from the bones. So I would say probably in another 30 minutes or so, we're gonna be about time to wrap the lamb bacon ribs. Everything looks great. Let's start serving our customers. It's gonna be 108 degrees today in Texas, so wish us luck. So right now we're in the middle of service. We got tickets rolling in up here on the board. Everybody's at work. We're almost serving about 100 people an hour. All right, y'all, it's getting really busy here, so now it's time for me to say goodbye. I hope you all enjoyed this and you get an idea of how it's like to run an Egyptian barbecue in Austin, Texas. Ma salama. Peace.
To be able to get those 500 plus cocktails out a night, we're preparing hours before the doors open. We got to make sure all 15 of our cocktail batches, juices and syrups are ready to go. Being head bartender at such a legendary location, a place with so much history, has a lot that comes with it. When you say mixology, you think of a guy in kind of a white coat, dropping droplets of something more science than art. I try to keep it more on the art side. How's it going? I'm Sweeney. I'm head bartender here at Pebble Bar, and I'm excited to show you around. Come on. It's 1 p.m. We got a lot of work to do, so we're gonna get started. This is our second floor bar. Now this is a 4-story townhouse. We have a bar on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th floor. Now this place has been around since 1892. It was originally a bar called Hurley's. In 1930, John D. Rockefeller was buying out this whole area for his Rockefeller Plaza. This building sticks out because it is the single one that he was not able to buy. There's a large group of investors that we have. Pete Davidson, Mark Ronson, Nick Braun, Jason Sudeikis, and Ariane Moyad, and they're all wonderful guys who send me an edible arrangement every one of my birthdays, I swear. We gotta go upstairs, so I got a keg to change, but we're gonna pass our door that's been the source of many legends, so follow me. All right, and this right here might not look like much, but this is kind of legendary, and this is where Johnny Carson used to enter. Right now, if you walk up there, you'll be right in the set of The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. So it'll lead us right to our bar here called Johnny's, named after Johnny Carson. Right now, we're gonna walk back into the prep kitchen, and we're gonna check on the walk-in and see kegs I gotta change. So come with me. Here's our walk-in. Some might call it cozy. I can think of another word for it. These are all of our kegs right over here. As head bartender, it's my job to make sure that we're stocked and all these beers are ordered along with all the liquor here. We have 4 kinds of beers right here. Each of these are probably gonna be changed about twice a week. We have the dials that are gonna make sure that our beer is coming out at a proper rate, that it's not gonna get too foamy or too little on pressure. This is called a FOP system here. This would not be necessary if these were right below the bar, but because it has to travel such a distance, these regulate it and all your waste comes in here instead. If you've worked at another bar and you change a keg, you find you have to go through 2 pitchers of beer that's all foam and you're just wasting beer as you go. It's more cost effective to have these. If you look up at these FOPs right now, you'll see that they're balanced and they're filled with beer. This one is not. That means there's nothing in it. It's got to be changed. This might be the 10,000th keg I've ever changed in my life. I'm gonna go counterclockwise, and then the hernia-inducing part. Full keg right underneath. Peel this off. We're gonna do it clockwise on this one. It's on like that. And as you see, it just shot right up, right there. Green means go. And now for the beer to get out, it needs a catalyst. We have nitrogen and we have CO2. For the beer, it's about a 70% nitrogen, 30% CO2. Why not all CO2? Because you don't want it so carbonated. You want those tiny bubbles that comes with the nitrogen right here. As I can see, it's pretty much on empty. And the last thing you want is that running out in the middle of service and bartenders not figuring out why their beer is coming out awfully. Lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. And we're gonna switch it with a full canister here. Tighten it up. And we have liftoff. So it's 1:30, beer looks good, nitrogen looks good, CO2 looks good. Now we're gonna start going to work on these keg cocktails here. All right, we have the Negroni and we have the Old Fashioned. These work for me as keg cocktails because there is no citrus in them. We do all our citrus fresh. So if our citrus is over 36 hours old, I'm getting rid of it. It might as well be dairy products in the desert as far as I'm concerned at that point. We're serving 500 cocktails a day essentially in the bar. It makes such a difference to have these on tap. First of all, we gotta make sure it's aired out. Now, when it comes to a Negroni here, is all liquor. It does have sweet vermouth in it, doesn't last forever, so I like to start with a fresh batch about every 2 weeks for Negroni. This one just came from 2 days ago, so I'm fine to just fill it in here. 1 part Campari, 1 part sweet vermouth, 1 part gin. I can go directly into here. The Negroni, aptly named after Count Negroni, he reportedly told his bartender that he wanted a stiffer version of an Americano. From there, it just became such a classic recipe that it's not just Negronis anymore. It's Boulevardiers, which with whiskey, it's Kingston Negronis, and the ever famous nowadays Spagliatos, which have been picking up in steam. So right now I've put in 2 bottles of sweet vermouths, 2 bottles of Campari, 2 bottles of Plymouth gin. So we're gonna do 1,500 milliliters of water for dilution. The dilution would normally come from the ice and the stirring. I don't want it too diluted because it's gonna go on top of an ice cube, so it'll get a little extra. We're using tap water for this. New York tap water, the finest in the world. So when it comes to how much we can get out of each one of these kegs, I would estimate just shy of about 200 Old Fashions. Maybe a little less than the Negroni, between 150 and 200. If it is not tight and taut, you are not going to have a keg that works. This is essentially my workout regimen these days. And now we're gonna do the Old Fashioned. The Old Fashioned we're not gonna do inside of the keg because I wanna make sure I get everything good and mixed up. I always do the Old Fashions as head bartender because I wanna make sure that the taste is absolutely right. Right here we have 12 bottles of whiskey. As I was taught years ago by the great Jim Kearns, always start with your cheapest ingredient first. Don't start pouring in your most expensive ingredient. If you make a mistake, you're in trouble and you've completely screwed yourself. So we're gonna start with water. So the biggest mistake sometimes with the keg Old Fashioned is that the dilution level is wrong and that it's too sweet. As head bartender, it's gonna be my choice what our recipe is. This, the way it's selling, I think we're doing okay on this one. Did that sound too conceited?
No, that sounds awesome.
For this, we're now gonna use our sugar. We use Demerara syrup. 2 parts measurement of the sugar to 1 part measurement of the water. I don't want it to be too sweet. As a matter of fact, if you ever start a bar and call it not too sweet, I think you'll have a line around the block. People love that. And if you use that, you owe me 10%. I'm gonna use 600 milliliters of Angostura. And I'm gonna do 300 of the orange bitters right here. Your bitters are essentially the spice rack of a bar. And I love what orange bitters brings out. Let's go with the whiskey. I'm using every fiber in my being to not to drop these and look horrible. The other key is mixing it. I want to give it a little taste after swirling to make sure it's right. I gotta pace myself. I'm going till 1 a.m. tonight. It's got that perfect level of dilution. It's got that perfect level of spice for what I want. So I'm good to go with it. Once this wash line gets low enough, I will try with my best dexterity to try to actually dump this all into here without making a mess and spilling product. All right, either this is gonna go perfectly or I'm gonna make a big mistake and make an ass out of myself. See the ball, be the ball. All right, it's 2 o'clock in the post-meridian Eastern Standard Time, so we gotta get going on batch cocktails next. Out goes with out. In goes with in. Feel it. And is it carbonated? Yes. We have something like 21 cocktails on our actual cocktail menu. I think something like 15 of them are actually batched. Why do we do that? Let's take our first cocktail right here. There's 3 different kinds of alcohol. If we combine these all into one, it's a 1 bottle pickup for that. We're not gonna put any citrus in there because that just will not last, so bartender's gonna have to do that. Some people will put syrups into a batch cocktail. I don't personally like to do it because I don't want it all to fall to the bottom, really. We do it like, for instance, as you saw with our old-fashioned keg, but syrups have a finite amount of time. These babies, these guys can last for well, infinitely really. Doing up to 500 cocktails, even more at a night. This will not take away from the quality of it, mixing liquor with liquor. It's absolutely totally fine. It's shelf stable. Sweet Dreams is named after the Eurythmics song. Most of the cocktails on our list is named after bands or songs that were featured at Radio City Music Hall at one point in time. So the Sweet Dreams kind of tastes like a holiday cocktail to me. It has a whole egg in it. It's got lemon juice. It's got the herbaceousness of our liqueurs there. It's got the sweetness of the cherry hearing, and it's got that peat of that scotch all going for it. It's got nutmeg, it's got cinnamon. It's basically like a wonderful, wonderful eggnog. We get a recipe, or a spec as we call it, from an R&D session. We test out cocktails and we adjust them. And then basically, if it works out perfectly, we can multiply those numbers into a large batch amount, which is what we're doing right now here. All right, let's move it on to our next cocktail. And we're gonna do the Lucille here. Our maitre d' Ryan here was a huge fan of M&M's, Mezcal Montenegro shots. It was pretty simple, taking those two ingredients, and then I added Coqui Torino, which is a form of sweet vermouth. It's got that rhubarb, that tobacco, that leather kind of taste to it. That might sound unappetizing, but trust me, it's really good. That is a stamp. The copper allows it to indent, and you have a design on the top of your big ice cube here. And then the chocolate that comes with the mole bitters. And it kind of completely works. So those are the batch cocktails we're making today. I'm sure there'll be more tomorrow that we got to do, but right now it's 3 o'clock, so I'm gonna work on a syrup that we're gonna need for service, and let's get moving. And here we are, our dining room bar. Dining room to the left of me, kitchen to the right. Getting set to make cinnamon syrup because we have it in 2 of our cocktails right now. First things first, I'm gonna weigh out the cinnamon. With the syrups that we do, it's gonna give it some flavor, it's gonna give it some fat as well. Everything being made in-house, if done well, is going to be better. We don't use lemon and lime juice that comes in a bottle. We juice that every day. Now, the bottle can last longer, but it's just so much better done fresh. I want 1 pound of water for every pound of sugar I have. I got 6 pounds. Pints a pound to whirl around, so I do this 3 times. And for those of you wondering at home, that's Chef Carlos Pereira back there, our head chef of our kitchen. Hello. He's affectionately given me the nickname of Gringo, which I believe means benevolent savant, but I haven't looked it up yet. And now, sugar in the raw. It's a dark brown sugar. Time. I'm gonna put it at about 430. I can always cut it then later. This one absolutely requires being put over heat. In cocktails outside of the old-fashioned, you almost definitely want the syrup. The consistency is going to be better that way. So we're gonna do this to about 10 to 15 minutes. Once you get that smell of that cinnamon, you know it's on the right path. You don't want it to get to a boil. I never want my syrups to get to a boil. Boiling is no bueno. All that sugar's dissolved. I got that great cinnamon smell going to it. Let me give it a little taste. Make sure it's exactly what I want. Or exactly what the customers want, I should say. Oh yeah. All right, so this cinnamon here, I think it'll last me a week. So I'm gonna get this stuff out of here, and we're gonna set up for an R&D session with me, myself, and I. Management has asked me to do a tiki cocktail. I swear I've never tried this cocktail before, so this might be some Icarus level idiocy, but you're gonna have fun either way. R&D stands for research and development. The normal process is you have an idea. I try to take notes and keep these ideas in my head on what we're gonna do for a cocktail in the future. When I'm happy with it, eventually there'll be a big R&D session with all the bartenders. The things that graduate from that all of a sudden go in front of the committee of the heads of state here. Now, my style is usually dark and boozy. Those are the things I specialize in, and I know absolute titans of this game. People are gonna be judging me on this one. So we're gonna see what I can do with this. This, I have my official recipes I'm happy with. They have been completed. The Necronomicon here. Then you have this. This is me reading a book today. This was a gift from a friend, HH. You know who you are. Thank you. And it's just an idea. That's all it is. So I'm sitting here. I'm writing ingredients. Will it work? I don't have a lick of clue, but we're going to try it out. I have some chinola. It'll be a passion fruit liqueur. And then I'm using 3 types of rum. Silver, Jamaican style. We have another version of a dark rum here, the Guatemalan rum. So we mix it together, it gives it more complexity, it adds different flavors to it. Doing R&D personally is a year-round activity. Got to keep doing it as we go. And that's one of the great places about this place. They give me the freedom to kind of try all this out and be able to test. 1/4 ounce of chinola. We had passion fruit syrup at a previous bar, Slowly Surely, that I worked at, and it worked really well in the tiki cocktails there. So I'm gonna try to find an original spin on it, hopefully. 3/4 of an ounce of plantation. 1 ounce of Appleton and Zacapa. We always have a working title, basically. I'm calling this Tiki Blinders. Will that stick? Probably not, because there'll probably be a theme to it, but, you know, I'm quasi-proud of it. I love the way crushed ice dilutes in a tiki cocktail. Choosing your ice and how much dilution you want is very important. Cubed ice, texturally, just doesn't work as well. And give myself a straw taste. It's good, but there's no way that's a finished product. First of all, I am gonna put the bitters on top and see if I like the way that that goes with it. I like it a lot better with the bitters, but what I am going to do is I'm going to cut the pineapple a little bit on this next one, and round 2. Now the thing about R&D is when you make a cocktail, the next cocktail you do, you can only change one thing. If you change 2 things, you're gonna be confused on what made it good or not. So it can be expensive to R&D. It needs a kick, and it's missing a kick that I would love to have. I am going to add some overproof rum. I got some Wray & Nephew right here. This will set your hair on fire. 63% alcohol by volume, 126 proof. All right, let's try this one more time. This will be the last one. Will I have something to bring to committee? We're gonna find out. I'm gonna be straight. When it comes to having a natural gift for this mixology, as they call it, I don't have that. But I know enough of the rules, and I've learned and I've worked at that. But I consider myself a bartender. One of the big details on why you're gonna shake as opposed to stir is the presence of citrus or dairy. It really, really welcomes itself to more dilution. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh yeah, Wray & Nephew made a difference there. I think I have something that I can bring to my peers and say, what do you think of this? Is this gonna work for you? This is truly me at my most naked here. I give you, for the first time ever, the Tiki Blinders. So it's 4 o'clock. Right now as we speak, the downstairs bar is opening. We're open up here in an hour. We're not really close to set to go, so let's get moving. Now the part of me being a head bartender kind of ends for the day, outside of maybe ordering or people wanting to know where stuff is. Now my part of every other bartender starts right now. We gotta make sure this bar is ready for service. So see how nice and clean this bar is? Let's make it filthy right now and fill it up with things. So I'm pretty much gonna be taking inventory of what's behind the bars. There is a timeline on how long those are gonna be good for, but we get so busy here that we don't even have to worry about that. Now the other cool thing about today is it's a Tuesday. We do a whole new prep day on Monday. Everything from the weekend that's left over is too old, we throw it away. Monday we start over. So I know I'm not gonna have any old juices to worry about here. That makes the job a little bit easier today than it might be later in the week where I really have to look at the dates. Today is gonna be the day that they're gonna throw it back to you. When you have a different garnish for every drink, when you have different citrus in every drink, when you have different syrups in every drink, you gotta be very, very, very economical with your time. You gotta be very, very smart about your space. It's almost like a clown car, the way the things just keep coming out of here. You can do this part in really fast motion with like the Benny Hill music playing or something like that. That'd be amazing. Talking about our batches early. Batch bottle, batch bottle, batch bottle, batch bottle. Again, tambien, tambien, tambien. And these are gonna go right in front of me in my well. In most every bar that you go to, the well that the bartender's working at will have their well spirits in front of there, their vodkas, their gins. We don't have that because as our menu goes, we get orders for these way more than we get vodka sodas. I have a checklist here. Spirits that we need, batches that we need, wine that we need, garnishes that we need, mixers that we need. As head bartender, I am responsible to make sure that this list exists. So down here, we're gonna have juices that we need, syrups that we need, all right here on my left. An economy of movement is so important in this. If you're reaching over here, 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 4 things for 1 drink, you're just gonna slow it down and people aren't gonna get their drinks in a timely manner. If you pick up the same bottle twice in 1 round of cocktails, you failed. There is a specific type of organization for the garnishes. My most popular garnishes are gonna go right in front of me. My tool check. I wanna make sure that I got 4 shaker tins, 2 mixing glasses. I wanna make sure I have a small jigger and a large jigger. I got my stamp. I got a microplane. I got 4 Hawthorne strainers. I have a tong and I have a knife. It's 4:51 and 36 seconds. We're gonna be open in just over 8 minutes. Let's get ready for service. 5 o'clock, ready for service. I'm ready to go. We're just gonna wait for some tickets and this place will be filled up in just a second. First ticket of the evening, Sweet Dreams, Green River, Sunday Lager. So when an order comes in, I wanna make sure that there's not one drink sitting longer than the other one that's gonna over dilute or get warm. So pretty much I'm building everything off this ticket as it comes. If someone just has a vodka soda, there's no reason for them to wait whatsoever. So the egg serves as basically a nog in what this drink's going out as. We originally tried it with just an egg white, but it was just too dry. Dry shake, macerate all that egg, and then I'm gonna do an ice shake. We got 2 coming down here, Sweet Dreams and the Green River. This is the cream. It's a Wu-Tang reference. Cash runs everything around me. My usual method for pouring the beer is to make sure the glass is tilted at its side. That way you're gonna get that foam, but not too much. And as you bring it down as you go, hopefully by the end, boom, you get a gorgeous pour each time. Okay. My worst case scenario in the bar, honestly, would be closing out someone to the wrong credit card. That has happened to me once in this life, and I have lost sleep waking up in the middle of the night going, I can't believe I did that. The person was very, very nice, and by nice, I mean not at all, and I always have that story to go back on. What would you like to take a shot of? Tequila? Step right up. I'm here to give you an experience. And if somebody really needs a shot and they want me in on it, I can handle myself and things aren't gonna go way out of whack doing that. Absolutely. Let's toast one together. We both earned it. Thanks for coming along with me today. Hope you have an idea kind of what our normal day is like here. We got some cyanide, we got some strychnine, we got some turpentine, so let's down them. Thank you for coming along. Cheers, y'all.
Semma is the only Indian restaurant that has Michelin-star in New York City. Semma is a South Indian restaurant where we focus on regional Southern Indian cuisine, mostly from Tamil Nadu, where I grew up eating. As executive chef, we also have such a huge responsibility to represent the Indian culture, cuisine, which we are enjoying it. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Semma. This is Vijay. I'm the executive chef, partner at Semma. This is 12:30. Let's see what's happening in the kitchen. Come on in, follow me. So we open for service at 5, and then we already have a couple of prep chefs who started the day, who received all the ingredients, who checked the quality, who started prepping for the whole day. All right, I'm going to be changing and be back. Bye. All right, ta-ta, ready? Let's go see the prep chef. This is Chef Suresh.
Nice to meet you.
So we've known each other for 25 years. We went to college together. He's my childhood buddy. He's the one who does all the cooking, making all the sauces, curries. Since it's our food, like we grew up eating it, I don't need to go and check everything like how it is. Like, you know, I don't need to check all the qualities because he takes care of everything. So I'm so blessed to have him in the kitchen.
Each time I'm preparing 4-5 dishes at the same time.
So once this batch is done, he'll be making like another batch that we keep making till like 4:30 till the service starts. We don't use anything for the next day because we make everything from scratch just for the day. What he does is he just cook every single dish for the whole day because he's very talented. That's why he's making five things at the same time. When you make 4-5 things at the same time, you get things done quickly. And also it's challenging because you have to keep an eye on everything, not getting burnt anything, to make sure that you maintain all the quality and consistency. Our concept is unapologetic food. So we just like to cook how we cook back home. I don't think we modify. We don't really try to turn down any spices. We just cook how we cook back home, except the quantity is big. Seems like Chef Suresh is keeping everything under control, so I don't think I need to be here. So he got it. We get booked every single night. As soon as we open the reservation, we get booked like 2 weeks in advance. On top of what we get booked, we do have about 1,000 to 1,400 people on notify list to get in. So we do a pre-seating, so like 5, 7, 9. So we do about 230 covers a night. This is our KDS, which is a kitchen display screen. What we do is we have a certain dishes you have to pre-order it. Like we have a pre-ordered crab, so I go to check the reservation, see how many crabs that we have pre-ordered. So I just go to the system and I let the chef know how many they have to prep every day. So I do track every single day how many dishes we've been selling it. That way I can give them exact quantity that they can prepare for a day, so we don't waste it another day. I'm doing it right here in the kitchen, so I can interact with the chefs too to make sure they have enough quantity that I'm putting in the system. Let's say if I put on 10 lobsters and then they have only 5 lobsters, that doesn't make sense. So I'll make sure I stay in the kitchen, I'll interact with them, make sure they have a right amount of quantity that they have in the kitchen before I put in the system. Once it's done, what I do, I just take a picture, I send it to all the chefs so they know exactly how many to be made every day. It looks great. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to move on to the cooking section. All right, it's 3 p.m. Everybody's in the kitchen right now. This is our dish pit where all the dishes being cleaned. And that's the Chef Sebastian is prepping his seafood. He's prepping his lobster and everything. So they all prepping their own section. And then here it is. I think the chef, what are you making here, Marcus? It's called raita. It's a side dish which has yogurt, cucumber, and chopped onions. Can I taste it? All right. Part of my job as executive chef is I have to make sure I taste everything. Everything is up to the standard. Very good. Look at the consistency. Like, it should be too watery, it should be too thick. This is the right, perfect consistency for raita. I mean, our raita. I mean, everybody has their own raita, but this is how raita is supposed to be. Very good. Thank you. So right here, these two gentlemen, they're making potato masala for the gunpowder dosa. This is the boiled potatoes. They're just peeling it right now. Once it's peeled, they're going to mix with all the spice mixer that goes into the gunpowder dosa. I think they like to use their bare hands with the glouses because that's much more efficient than using the peeler or whatever it is. I don't worry too much because I know my team, but my team they always crush it, they nail it, they do the best job they could do. But just to make sure to double check it, triple check it, because we want to make sure every single guest that has the best experience possible. Majority of our dishes are very labor intensive. For example, a dosa takes 3 days to just prep it. Just like that, every single dish has a lot of prep to do. So it takes about 2 to 3 days to make one single dish. Can I say one thing? I was going to say all this, guys. For me, I believe in people who works really hard, who has a dedication and passion. So as you can see, all these gentlemen, they started as a dishwasher 2 years ago. I saw the hunger in their eyes, how they want to learn and grow. So as you can see, they are working the line right now. He makes all the pastries. He does all this expediting when I'm not there, and he does all the prep for the post section. That makes me very happy that I was able to work with them, even though with the dishwasher. I was able to give them a chance, and they feel so appreciated. For the next 1 hour, I'll be checking every single section to make sure that everything's been prepared to our standard, and then they all tasted great. It's 4 p.m. now. As you can see, the kitchen is so chaos, because we have 1 more hour to open the service. Dosa, we call it gunpowder dosa. It's one of our most signature dish on the menu. We sell about at least 150 dosas a day. Every single one gets dosa, just so you know. All right, so I'm just going to be making dosas. We just have to season the griddle before you make dosas. You have to make sure it's on right temperature. If it is too low or if it is too hot, you can able to get the right color and right consistency. And as you can see, you have 3 rounds, right? So that's how you make dosa, because that has the right amount of temperature. Sprinkle some ghee a little bit right here to make sure it doesn't get stuck in the griddle. You should have some kind of greasiness. And also, you have to make sure you don't put too much ghee also. When you put too much ghee, you don't get the texture. You have to spread them equally, that's it. Otherwise, it'll be so thick in the one side or it'll be very crispy on the side, so it has to be spread equally. Because when you put the lentils, all the lentil will absorb all the ghee from there. So they'll be so dry, so you have to make sure you have enough ghee in it. So. All right, not bad. There you go. Thank you. All right, ready, let's go. All right, it's 4:30 now. It's a time for pre-shift. So we all gonna cuddle together. We talk about what you have in the book, how many reservations, what are the dietary restrictions, who are the VIPs, all those details.
Tonight we have 174 covers. We have a pretty extensive first round. At 5 o'clock, a lot of tables are coming in. We have a couple dietary restrictions tonight. We have 4 crabs pre-order, none to sell. That's pretty much it for tonight.
You guys been crushing it as always. I don't have to repeat this every single day. Keep up the good work. That's it. Amazing. Let's rock and roll. All right, it's 4:55 now. We have 5 minutes to open the door. So this is the expo station. We're just kind of setting it up. So you get all the tickets right here, whatever. They also get a printed version of copy, so I can also see all the tickets that we have here. So it kind of give me an idea. If something takes more than 15-20 minutes, so I can see the screen how long the ticket has been there. So we can go ask them to expedite as quick as possible, or if something goes wrong, if something's not right, for some reason the dish is not executed in a timely way, we can go speak to the guests for some reason,
Is it always just quiet right before a service?
No, they're just behaving. Plates are cold. I'm just warming up the plates before service. Can we heat it up some more? Yeah, let's put a microwave and heat it up. The food has to go hot, so we have to make sure the plate has to be hot in order to maintain the temperature of the food. All right, it's 5:10 now. I'm just gonna go upstairs, take a look how many guests have been seated so far. So it gives me an idea for the cooks, like, you know, mentally they can prepare, like how many tickets are gonna come in. Yeah, I can already see like almost like 50% of the dining room got filled up in 10 minutes. So. How are you? Welcome. How are you? Good. How are you? Yeah, it's the first time, or you all been here before? Or?
I've been here before.
Oh, thanks for taking all of them here.
Really excited.
Thank you. I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you.
Just a quick heads up, almost like 50 to 60% of the dining room got filled up already. So we're gonna get harder like in 15-20 minutes, so get ready. All right, this is our first ticket. It's 5:15. We have a gunpowder dosa and the dry lamb, which is our atukare suka. Nice. All right, one for beater, one for 101.
Beater 101.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Sometimes it looks dry because we have the gunpowder, so I want to make it a little more, you know, fresh and ghee. Like, all right, guys. Thank you. 305, please.
305.
Thank you. All right, we got a second ticket now. Guys, 305, mung bean, please. Thank you. First say 305 paniyaram. So we have like 4 gentlemen, men in black, right here, beautifully dressed, including Francisco. We call him Papa. Papa is the seen-most guy in the kitchen. So all 4 of the gentlemen, we call them food runners. They are the one who takes all our food like so hard, like piping hot to a table, that they literally run to the table from here, from kitchen to table. That's why they call food runner. They take turns, they fight sometime. Kiss on the lamb 104, right? 206 lamb. Like say we have 10 prawns, right? Like we have like 10, 15 prawns at the same time. So instead of going the KDS one by one, I'll write on a paper. Sometimes they make all the 6, 7 ordered prawns at the same time. I'll just give the paper to them so they know exactly what table they have to go. Yeah. When we design the menu, I also wanted to make them feel like eating at the home, right? Thank you. That looks beautiful. 305, please. Thank you. It's so many food has been plated in the wooden plates because, you know, I grew up in a farmer family, like, you know, grew up in such a small farm where you used to eat food at the like banana leaves and like wooden plates and like bamboo leaves and stuff like that, right? So I just wanted to bring back the same exact memory how I grew up eating it. So that was the idea. Do you know the table number?
202.
Yeah. You can see that screen get filled out like to the second where then that's where I'm really busy. Like no, then we are like super busy. This dosa, even he told me not to give it to us, give it to the guest, because you know it's slightly darker than usually. So this is the right color, but this is a little too dark, so we're not serving this. So this either goes to family or we might discard it. It is a loss of money, yes, but we also take a pride. We want to make sure that we get the best food to our guests. How many seats at the bar got filled up? How many?
Almost everything.
Everything bar got filled up. And this is called natte piratal. This is the snail dish. So this is something that my grandma used to make it. Every time we used to go visit her during the school holidays, we used to help her in like foraging snails and at a rice paddy farm. So she used to take us for like hunting, snail foraging, all those things, right? Like fishing. So this is something we used to help my grandmother foraging the snails. Once the snail is foraged, she used to cook them at the open fire in a mud farm, and then we used to eat on a banana leaf, literally in the middle of rice paddy farm. So this is something we just want to replicate exactly how my grandma used to make it. All right, thank you. This is for the shoot, please. Thank you. Is all the table got filled up? It's 5:40.
Yeah, chef. Mostly.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's picking up now. You can see the heat. Great. Can you clean this up a little bit? All right, this is we call it Ulavar Sunday Poriyal, which is seasonal Poriyal. Ulavar Sunday means like farmer's market in Tamil. It's a very simple, very humble dish that is made with fresh coconut and all the seasonal vegetables sauteed with fresh coconuts. We are using red beets, golden beets, and butternut squash and mustard seeds. Guys, can we put some more flowers? Emily,
Yep.
this goes to 202, please. 2 Poriyal for 202.
202 for 2.
we have a rule that we have to repeat each other. Like, we just want to make sure we're on the same page. We want to make sure they hear me properly, and I want to make sure I hear them properly, to make sure we have effective communication, that we don't make mistakes. Usually the server takes care of the pacing because they coordinate with the guest. They ask the guest like how do they like to post it out, or they give their recommendation like how the food can go out, because they know exactly how to pace it out. Sometimes they like to have those as a main course, so we like to make sure that the food is being sent out exactly how they want to be. So that's why that communication is happening. All right, it's almost 6 now. I think we almost sold about 30 dosas, more than 30 dosas. The expediting can be a little stressful because every single section is like completely busy, and we have a responsibility. Even though if you're busy, it's not an excuse. We have to make sure every single dish has been executed in a way it's supposed to be, like in terms of temperature, taste, consistency, everything. All right, it's 6:30 now. Things are kind of slowing down. Thank you so much for spending the whole day with us and learning all our stories in the Chaos Kitchen. We still have 2 more seating to go, like 7 and 9, and get out of here.
The food here at Tatiana is a combination of Afro-Caribbean influence as well as food that you'll find throughout New York City. It takes people months, sometimes up to a year, to secure their reservation here at Tatiana. Lots of publications have named us #1 in the city as well as the country, which puts a lot of pressure on myself as well as the team. My goal as the chef de cuisine is to uphold the quality, the consistency, and the morale for the team. It has been such a roller coaster from day one, the accolades, the notoriety, the visibility, and I can't wait to see where else we go. Hi, I'm Kamat Newman, the chef de cuisine here at Tatiana. We've got quite a bit of work to do, so let's go on in. As you can see, we're at the heart of Lincoln Center. We've got the Met Opera as well as the ballet. We have guests that come in at 5 o'clock on the dot, so all the more critical for us to be on time and punctual with our production in the morning. It is 10 a.m. I've got a couple stocks that need to be tended to. We're heading down to the production kitchen where all of the heavy prep happens in the morning. We are going to check on our stocks this morning. They've been going for about 15 hours or so. We've got our oxtail stock as well as our 2 chicken stocks. We do let them go overnight. It just works better for efficiency of the kitchen and to ensure that these machines do not get turned off, because this has happened in the past. We have to put little notes like, this is the oxtail stock, don't touch it. Losing 66 quarts of stock is not a fun experience. So right now for the oxtail stock, I have to pull the meat out of it. We let it go at a bit of a lower temperature so that the meat doesn't completely fall off of the bones. We use it for our oxtail rangoon dish on the menu. This oxtail was marinated with our jerk paste, and we gave it a hard sear in the oven. The stock itself, we use it to braise our oxtail with. We combine it with our chicken stock to make a really flavorful, really deeply colored oxtail braise. So this is our 30-gallon tilt skillet. Because of the restaurant's, I guess you could say, levels of business, we make everything in large batches here. When I'm ready to strain this out, I can just tilt it down, and easy and efficient. Chicken stock, we have a couple of our team members right now cutting the vegetables, getting the aromatics prepared to throw in there. Then it's gonna go for another 2 or 3 hours. So these, I'm gonna take them to the blast chiller to cool them down. Corner. Sorry, chef. Thank you. We have to put the oxtail in the blast chiller so that it cools down in an appropriate amount of time to the proper temperatures. We don't want anything to go bad. All right, now that's done. Now it's time for me to check in with my team to check on the trajectory of the day and see what else needs to be handled. So far, we're looking at about 142 covers for this evening, and the books are closed. That means that anything extra will be walk-ins for the restaurant. We typically do between 230 up to 280 covers a night, all contingent upon the weather outside. But once we hit that cap for reservations, we know that it's game time. And now that I have this number and I know that the books are closed, I'm gonna communicate that to the rest of my chef team so that they know what the night ahead looks like. This is Pablo, our junior sous chef. At this time, we're gonna be checking our prep list. We do a new prep list every single day. This prep list was written by Chef Sam, one of our sous chefs, after service. So she filled out our daily inventory and created this prep list based off of our needs for today. So Pablo, his responsibilities entail opening the kitchen along with our sous. The sous chefs and junior sous typically do a lot of the more labor-intensive work when it comes to breaking down proteins and seafood. In terms of my role, it's really important that I check in with the team. Being that Chef Kwame does a lot of traveling, opening up other restaurants, many other projects happening, I am responsible for ensuring that his vision, his creativity, and his level of quality is always met. And then we take a look at the staffing list, which is also printed on our prep list in terms of who's gonna be here, who we know has the skill to do what, who we want to give a new opportunity for training and development purposes. So I just want to make sure we're not overproducing. We're not running the lamb at the special today. We'll focus on that for tomorrow. All right. At this time, I'm also going to be checking everything in the walk-in. I'm checking that nothing is out of place. I'm seeing like we have a batch of escovitch that we made that needs to be quartered. Our bread needs to start for the day as well. I'm ensuring that things are labeled properly with the dates, making sure there's no condensation inside of any of our containers, which means that something wasn't cooled down properly. So if I'm coming in here with that critical eye, we're more likely to have a wonderful inspection. People are always amazed by how big this walk-in is. It's a flex. For me, I'm like, yeah, it is. And we are set to move on. Right here, I have the pastrami, or the short rib that will be our pastrami. We got to get this broken down for brining. This is going to brine for about 5 days, and then it'll be ready. I use a 10-inch chef's knife, freshly sharpened, to make sure the project doesn't take a long time. The sharper the knife, the better. In a professional kitchen, you want to make sure you use the proper color coding for your cutting board. Red cutting boards are for proteins. That's just so cross-contamination doesn't happen. So the pastrami suya is essentially a riff on traditional New York pastrami. Obviously, we take it and we turn it into something that is purely Tatiana, in that we apply a suya and pastrami spice blend that Chef Kwame has made especially for this recipe. Suya spice is a West African spice blend. Suya traditionally means barbecue. So this piece that I've just weighed out is about 45.15 ounces. I know I'll be able to get at least 2 portions plus a bit of scrap. I think we love the scrap the most in the kitchen because it then goes into family meal. I'm just removing the excess fat, not too much of it, because that fat is what's going to give us that nice tender texture that we're looking for after the braising process. That Wagyu short rib is definitely highlighting the texture of the meat as well as the flavor. We want to see just like nice marbling. It adds a bit of unctuousness to the bite of meat instead of just being super lean, which is typically what we see when we go after traditional pastrami sandwiches. That is huge. Jesus Christ. We got the New York Post to write us up just stating that it was the best pastrami in New York City. It is definitely the highlight of our menu, in that the most pastramis I've ever sold in a night is about 70 orders. With all those accolades, it makes not only the reservations the most sought out in the city, but also this particular dish. The brine imparts a lot of flavor. We've tested 3 days, we've tested 7 days, 5 days is our sweet spot for this particular brining process. I've got another 50 pounds in the walk-in that needs to be broken down as well. Because it's a 5-day brining process, if we miss a count for a day, that means the dish doesn't make it to the menu this weekend. So we always want to make sure we have eyes on how many we're gonna sell, how many we've sold the previous days. So as a CDC, the more you go up in the industry, the less you do actual knife work and cooking. For me, it's really important that I keep my hands in the cooking process as well as the butchering process for all products, just to make sure the quality is still being met to Chef Kwame's standards, and also just to remind myself on a daily basis what my passion is. So this is our last short rib. I'm then gonna pass this over to our junior sous chef to get it on brine and get the ball rolling. Because I need to move on to the agusi stew. Agusi stew is a traditional West African stew that typically is comprised of red palm oil, crayfish powder, and ground melon seeds. It's much easier to mix things with a paddle as opposed to trying to get a small spoon in there. The red palm oil gives us a really deep, earthy flavor. It also imparts a really beautiful golden color into the stew as well. When Chef Kwame made it for me the first time, I fell in love with it. It's actually my favorite menu item on our small shares portion. I think it's pretty cool that Chef Kwame came up with the idea of making such a traditional West African dish into something as familiar as a soup dumpling. So luckily for me, I have experience working in large batch cooking. Scaling recipes up isn't as black and white as just increasing the numbers. Some things have to be altered as they scale up as the flavors and levels do change. Let's say this recipe required a certain amount of peppers, and I know that those peppers are particularly spicy. I may want to scale those down so that it is not overwhelming at such a large batch level. Being that this tilt skillet is so large, the heat elements are in different spots. So mixing it around constantly will just ensure that all of the onion will be cooked evenly. Once it stops burning your eyes, you know you're ready. I'm gonna go ahead and add in our agusi seed. And these are just ground melon seeds that we're adding right now. We wanna make sure these are toasted off so that that raw melon seed flavor doesn't come through and get that deep flavor that we're looking for. On a busy night, we sell up to 180 individual dumplings. So I am now gonna add the iru, I-R-U, or fermented locust bean. Can you smell that? So typically we like to hand projects off to other cooks from a management perspective to ensure that everyone is trained on everything. You know, people take vacation, have family emergencies, and just sometimes want to learn new things. So it's about 1:30 right now. I need to pivot. So this project is going to be handed over to my junior sous chef. So now I'm going to check in with the rest of the team, make sure everybody's on track for the day, and then we can start setting up the service kitchen upstairs. It's 1 p.m. right now. We're building the cart to take equipment upstairs to the service kitchen from down here in the production kitchen. At this time, we're 4 hours out from service. So typically I'll pick up and get the equipment up to the kitchen to free up the sous chefs and the junior sous so that they can stay focused on the production day. Corner, right behind you. Coming out. Now we're heading to the elevator to take us up to the restaurant. This elevator belongs to Lincoln Center, but they're kind enough to let us use it for our daily setup. Quite a bit of heavy lifting when it comes to like the equipment and the proteins and things like that. So I'd say I'm getting a really good workout in on a daily basis. Mainly due to spacing. When Chef Kwame was looking for a space, he knew that the production for the menu would have to be done in large format. So the space intentionally has a production kitchen to take care of all the heavy lifting that we saw for service. This kitchen comes into play starting at 3:30 when the line cooks arrive, and we are done with service at about 11 p.m. at night. We have it down to the exact number. There is a checklist that we use to build this cart. I think most of us know it by heart by now. I love integrating myself into the setup for service, as it just makes me feel like I'm more in tune with the cooks. Right here, I am setting up garde-manger/dessert station. I have to break down some ice that's in here that built up over the weekend. So right now, I'm just putting everything in place for the hotline, just making sure that pots are where they need to be. Then I'll start compartmentalizing and setting them up one by one, starting with roast and working my way down to entremet and then hot app over here. So our kitchen is closed between Saturday night and Tuesday evening. So when these are left in the well, they freeze in. As we keep these fridges running so that we don't have to retemp them. Chef Kwame has set the kitchen up to be a traditional brigade system with the stations that we have with as many bodies as we have. We have our roast station, garde-manger. We have entremet, which is our saute station, and hot app. All of our desserts come off of the garde-manger station as well. So we'll see like a lot of the sweet treats coming up on our very last cart. In a night, it has to be upward of about 300 or more plates altogether coming out of this kitchen. Starting at about 4 p.m., we start to see a line develop outside the door, and that is comprised of people that have been waiting upwards of a year to eat with us here at Tatiana. And that makes it all the more critical for us to be ready at 5 on the dot. That pressure is on as soon as the doors open. It's about 3:30 right now. Line cooks are gonna start filing in, so I'm gonna go and catch them at the time clock to ensure that they know what the day is about to look like. The cooks, after they clock in, are gonna be handed their checklist for the station that they've been assigned to today, being that we cross-train all of the cooks for pretty much every station here in the kitchen. So they'll be able to kind of gauge what their needs are based on the list that we hand them. Tastings usually happen on the line at about 4:45. The team will set up with all of their sauces heated, all of the proteins par cooked, and then we start to taste the components to ensure that they are top tier quality. Can you bring it over here, please? I just want to give our ground lamb for service a bit of a taste. I would say that this was really well seasoned, and it's definitely got a bit of a kick to it that I'm feeling now. If anything on the line is wrong or I see that it's not up to par with our standards, I will notify the sous chefs so that they can come up and take a look at what product needs to be fixed, and they will fix it down in the production kitchen. This is the last push, and then we're gearing ourselves for pre-shipping service. We're gonna discuss VIPs, party sizes, as well as the lineup for this evening. We will not be running the chicken tonight. I'm hoping that means we see pastrami numbers go up. There's also an 86 on Bodega Special just to start. We will un-86 it as soon as the donuts make it to the line. All right, it's almost 5. We just got done with our pre-shift meeting. The line's building outside. We're about to go into service. During the first seating in the dining room, I'll be here at the pass expediting for the kitchen up until about 8 o'clock tonight. Thank you guys so much for following me around. Hopefully I gave you a little bit of a glimpse of what it's like to be the chef de cuisine here at Tatiana. And if you're lucky enough, you can pin down a reservation and come join us. Hyping myself up internally right now. It's me and then the team, and then we're good to go.
Cooking over a live fire makes my life more difficult and more fun at the same time. No stoves, no ovens, no microwaves. You have to constantly be feeding it and watching over it. I call it kind of like a needy boyfriend. Between the 2 fires, we put out 720 plates an evening. As sous chef here, I oversee prepping dishes and putting final touches on things, as well as making sure that the staff, the line cooks, the commis are all on track and on schedule for the day. It's 5 o'clock. Hi, I'm Sarah Baldwin. I'm the executive sous chef at Osito. Come on in. This is Osito Restaurant. We are a 100% live fire. Everything is burned through wood, and we use coals to heat things up and cook. It's 8 a.m. and as exec sous, the first thing I do to start the day is to build a fire so we can get cooking. So here we have a little kit to start our fire today. The only use for this blowtorch in the restaurant is to build this fire. As much as I would like to say I use rocks, I'm not that good. We have menus from previous days that we're gonna use to crumple up to light and kindle. So I'm gonna curl up a couple of these first. We have smaller pieces of wood that'll catch a little bit faster. Setting up a little Lincoln log for ourselves. Intertwine our pieces of paper that we have twisted to kind of help catch fire. Here at Osito, we use a 50% almond and oak. From the almond, you'll get a little bit more of like a nutty flavor and a little bit fruitier. And then from our oak, you'll get something rounder and deeper for when we're smoking. When you're building a fire, the three things that are super important are to give it air, a heat source, and ventilation. I feel nothing anymore. And then right now what I'm doing is I'm starting to push our fire into the corners by building it closer to one wall of the oven. As the fire builds and the air flows upward, it's going to push to the other side and then kind of climb back in. That'll help us build a convection in the oven. So let's build a fire over here so we can start cooking over the hearth. What I'm looking for right now are just manageable pieces that'll catch quickly. This drier stuff that has moss on it will catch, so that will be more ideal for this application. See, our fire's getting pretty big over here. We're in a good place. So then I'm gonna take one of these smaller pieces and use it to build the new one. Everything has contact with some element of wood. Between the two fires, we'll be cooking enough food to put out about 720 plates an evening. I find it more satisfying to cook over fire because it takes a little bit more than turning a knob. If you want more heat, you have to feed the fire a little bit more to get more coals to then heat up your pot, and it kind of like feeds my brain in a different way. These fires seem to be lit and going. It's around 8:15, and at this time we're gonna write out our prep list for the day and get everyone on their tasks. As the opening sous chef, it's definitely more of my job to make sure that everything gets mapped out for the day. Our current menu is about 9 courses. It's composed of 20 plates. The way that we build the menu is based on seasonality, and currently we're doing a Game Birds menu. We were inspired a little bit by the holidays. All the components and the tasks that go into that are kind of going to be divvied up based on everyone's personal strengths. If I know that someone is like really great at kneading bread and portioning and forming, then I'm going to have them focus on that. And then someone else is going to pick the garnish for that same plate. Teamwork makes the dream work. Okay, so it's about 8:30 and we're going to get started on 7 ducks a peckin and break down some ducks. Beautiful ducks that we get in from Liberty Ducks in Sonoma. This is going to be a cross between a Muscovy and a Peking duck, so it's going to be a little bit bigger than the average duck that you see. The top here is the neck, and it has all this extra fat, and I'm just going to take it off so I can get to other parts of the duck a little bit easier, but we will be saving this fat. From here, I'm going to grab the front and I'm going to feel for the wishbone, tip my knife above where I would feel the bone, kind of get my hand in, put my finger around to kind of loosen it up from the breast meat and make my way up, pull out, and break it off. And then you see here we have the wishbone. Flip the bird over, and I'm gonna get the wings. I'm gonna use the weight of the duck to kind of help me maneuver and find my way to the bone. So this is pretty much like the armpit of the duck. Make a little incision here. And then as I pull back, see the joint pop out a little bit, follow it with my knife. The 7 ducks a pecking is gonna be the full utilization of the duck. We're using the breast meat that we make into prosciutto. We also use the duck liver. We make a mousse out of that. We grill it in cabbage and wrap it up, and it's filled with a pineapple guava jelly. We have a course that uses the duck brain with a little bit of embered sunchoke. Brains are kind of a softer texture. It's kind of similar to like panna cotta, and I'm sorry for the visual that I just created, but it's true. The casserole dish that we have on the menu currently, that was a dish that I created. For that course, we're taking all of our duck wings and braising them in duck stock. On top of that, we have creamed spinach, black trumpet mushrooms with truffle, and we top it with crunchy scallions. This knife is a Toji Hiro Honesuki, a knife that's designed for butchery, and it has an angled tip that makes it a little bit easier to wedge your way in when you're trying to separate meat from the bone. We usually butcher about 10 ducks a week. These are pretty generous size, so we're able to utilize a lot of it for multiple people. The duck carcass is here. Spend some time in our wood fire oven and roast, and then we're going to make a duck stock, which then goes back into braising the duck wings that we previously talked about. And that's it. It's about 9:30, so we're gonna get these bones roasting and moving on to our next project, which is the dashi, which is a Japanese broth that is gonna be put into our chow mushi dish. Let's go. Yeah. I'm just getting some water in a pot here to bring to a boil to start making my dashi. Chawanmushi is a steamed egg custard, normally found in Japanese restaurants. We're gonna season it with a little bit of white soy, and then all of our uni from the day before is actually gonna be blended into the base. In this coal harvesting, would you mind putting some under the chawanmushi guy? Of course. Thank you. The hearth here is kind of the lifeline of the restaurant throughout the day, throughout prep and throughout service. We're constantly feeding it wood so that we can build coals and then transfer it to wherever needed. And the bigger the pile and the closer up to the metal is going to be how hot it's going to be. So to start the dashi base for our chawanmushi, I have some kombu here that I'm gonna have kiss the fire a little bit to impart some of that smoky flavor. Kombu is a seaweed that has been salt cured and dried. Rather than just being the umami that you get from seaweed, it'll have like a little bit of like a deeper flavor. I don't wanna burn it. I just kinda wanna see it start to ripple. We've had our water on the flat top here for a little bit. It's about the right temperature to start our dashi. So we have our torched kombu that we just did, and we're gonna pop that in there. And then these are dehydrated smoked king trumpet mushroom stems. When we cut them up and portion them for service, I take all of the butts and I put it up top, dehydrate and smoke, just to like re-impart that flavor in the dish. Same idea with our mandarin skins. I just save all the peel and then I add that in here. And then classic bonito flakes, dehydrated flakes of fish that are typically from tuna. Adds a little bit of umami as well as a slight fish flavor. And then the last ingredient for this dashi is going to be some pine needles. It's gonna bring out the grassiness of all of our other ingredients. You might see a little bit of Asian influence in the food that I make because I am a hapa. My mom is Filipina and my dad is a Caucasian man. So I grew up kind of having a lot of traditional Asian treats as well as, you know, your stereotypical like Kraft macaroni and cheese. So I kind of like to think that the food that I make is a blend between the two. I'm gonna kind of mix it up a little bit, and then I'm gonna let this steep for about 20 to 30 minutes and strain. You don't want it to go any longer than that because the pine tends to turn bitter, so we just wanna make sure that we catch it before that point. All right, so our dashi is done. It's about 10:15, and we're gonna go on to our next project, which is making pate. The pate that we're making is gonna be pork butt and squab innards. We use pork butt because it's a nice ratio between fat and lean meat. It's always important for like the bite and the structure of the meat to have a good percentage of fat to meat. This pate kind of evolves with the seasons and what's available. Before it was persimmon and pear, but right now we have some like really beautiful dehydrated peaches, and I thought it might be a nice bright addition to this dish. This pate is served with our house-made milk bread. It has like a little bit of allium powder in there that we make in-house. So we take all of our scallion tops, throw them up top, and use that as like our dehydrator. And then we grind it to a fine powder and fold it into our batter. Head over to the prep kitchen to bring down our meat grinder, and then we can start grinding our pate. So here we have all of our pork, and we're gonna season it with a mixture of cured salt as well as our fine sea salt. And then we're gonna get grinding. And start feeding some of the pork through. It's not exactly the most glamorous job, but someone's got to do it. Oh yeah, meaty. The rehydrated peaches and figs that we are adding to our pate add a little bit of sweet and tartness. We have a lot of umami and savory notes, and this kind of balances it out. And when it's served with the jam, it kind of pops a little bit more. I rehydrated the peaches and figs with a little bit of white wine and warm spices. And then add our squab innards, a little bit of heart and liver, and we get about 40 squabs in a week. We want to use all the parts, so that's going to land in our pate this week. Very Valentine's Day oriented when you do this. What'd you do today? Just grind some hearts. The last bit is going in, and we're going to finish mixing everything in the kitchen. Next step is to add our eggs and our milk. So I'm going to make sure I break down these eggs a little bit better. And then we're gonna start dumping into this Lexan. This is gonna make approximately 12 loaves, which will last us probably about a week, and then we'll start this whole process all over again. Doing bigger projects is more on my side because it has to be so precise as far as like measurements and consistency of the meat. So like right now you can kind of see there's separation between the meat and all of the liquid that we're adding to it. Once we fully emulsify it and mix it, you'll see that it'll bind and you won't see any separation. It'll just be like all one mass. She looks crazy right now, but I promise you it's pretty good. From here, I'm gonna start doing my favorite task and also workout. We're gonna start kind of self-emulsifying it like this, bringing the fat and the proteins together. As I'm doing this, it's starting to clump up a little bit, and that's like exactly what we're looking for. And then play whatever music you need to get you motivated for the last push. Oh yeah. So then, you know, I don't have to do arms today. As you can see, it's like starting to kind of like really stick together. It's pulling away from the edges and it's kind of building more of a mass in the center. So we're almost there. Shep, sound-wise and feel-wise, it feels pretty tacky, right?
Yeah. Squeeze it. Yeah.
What sound are you looking for?
Like a... Basically, when you work it, the salt pulls the proteins out, and so the more you work it, the tackier it gets, and so you're listening for it to be really tacky in your hands.
I feel like we're there. Now I'm gonna put them in pans and cook them in the oven. As I fill the pate, I'm going to stud the top with a little bit more of that rehydrated fig. Let people know what flavor it is. Slam it down a few times to push out any air that might have happened while I was filling it. I'm gonna place it here in these hotel pans. We're gonna pour in our hot water bath. It's allowing it not to come from one heat source, but kind of all around, and it cooks a little bit more evenly. That'll keep the moisture in, but also emulsify at the same time. Boom. And then I'm gonna head this over to the oven. Ugh. Coming down, right behind, corner. Ugh. In she goes. Tend to load the pate pan in a little bit closer to the fire. You're gonna get more of like your higher, like 400-degree heat. They're gonna take about an hour. It's 11, we have about an hour to cook family meal, and I'm gonna go see what's in the back. The way to determine what we're gonna use for staff meal is, do we have anything that's excess? Is anything cooked off? So I kind of look through here and I see that there's some leftover chicken thighs from yesterday that weren't used for family, so I'm gonna scoop those up. We have some already cooked off pasta, and then I see that we also have arugula. We like to kind of centralize where all the things for family meal go, so it's a little bit easier for people to decipher what they're gonna make. We like to rotate staff meal so that everyone kind of has a chance to participate, and it's kind of their time to like show off what they can do and kind of experience something together. I think I'm gonna start smoking some chickens. Marinate it in a little bit of ginger scallion, and so I'm just gonna kind of pour it over. Scrummaged through people's stations to see what they had excess of or things that they weren't gonna use today for service. I'm gonna start skin side down to kind of help with making sure that it doesn't stick to the rack. A lot of the fat is gonna render out through that, so it'll create like a little layer between the rack and the meat. I like making family meal. It kind of breaks up the monotony of, everyday routine. I'm gonna put it up top to smoke. When I'm putting them up here, I'm gonna look for where the fire is, and obviously right above is gonna be the hottest and probably more likely to burn. But as you can see, there's like a little bit of smoke that pillows up to the side, and that's gonna give me a little bit more gentle heat, and it's gonna smoke it more evenly. I prefer smoking over grilling because I think it gives you a little bit more leeway. It's a little bit lower and slower, and so the likelihood of burning it is less, and also I think it makes the chicken a little bit juicier. And the next thing I'm gonna do is head over to the back and get some veggies for our noodles. I'm thinking I'm gonna go like yakisoba routes, and I'm gonna use this cauliflower. I have some celery here. Take these noodles that are already cooked off and kind of kiss them on the plancha, get them a little seared up with some veggies. I prefer cooking on the plancha. Number one, less dishes, and number two, it's a larger flat surface, so I'm able to cook more food faster. Family meal in the mornings are for about 15 people, whereas at night it's about 20 to 25. And it's really important to have enough food for everyone so that everyone's geared up and ready to go for the day. I'm gonna start adding my nudes. It's a little hot. So I added a little bit of soy sauce, season everything a little bit more. Sesame oil burns easily, so I want to add it towards the end. Sacrificial noodle. All right, servable. I'm gonna check on my birds. It's a lot easier to work here if you're tall. I've been short my whole life, so I'm very crafty. The chickens are a little bit more opaque, and then you'll see that the skin has seized up a little bit and has a brown color to it. They look pretty good, but I want to get maybe the skin potentially a little bit crispy, so I'm gonna pop it in the oven for like 2 to 5 minutes, and then it's ready to go. We have some arugula here. This green salsa would be like a fun vinaigrette, so I'm gonna try it out and see what happens. I'm going in. Oh yeah. They're looking right tonight. All right. And lunch is served. It is 12:30. We just got back from lunch and we're about to go on a crab party.
Crab party.
Crab party. We like to get a couple of people together to harvest all of the meat off of the crab. Now, this is Dungeness crab. It's kind of like a hometown hero, and so whenever it's in, it's like a hot commodity and everyone tries to get it as much as possible. The part of the crab that I have here is the body. What I like to do is go in with my kitchen shears and build myself a little route so I can crack it in half and have access to most of the abdomen meat a little bit easier. And I'm gonna take my tweezers, pluck them out of there. The crab is used in our first snacks, served with the chow mushi on a separate plate with a brain sauce on the bottoms, and then on top is the harvested meat from this, a couple pieces of leg, and it's finished with our house-made fowl XO. Traditionally, it's made with dehydrated scallops and Chinese bacon, and here we've just used our duck prosciutto in supplement of the Chinese bacon. We have here a crab leg, and I'm gonna use my shears and come in on the side because we want it to be as whole as possible. I'm gonna go all the way through, shimmy the top off, and we have our whole leg here. Now we have a claw. I'm gonna take off this side first and kind of slowly wiggle out. And I'm gonna do the same thing that we did before with the leg with my scissors and try to build a path. Oh yeah, see there? You kind of cut through, pop the top off, and then I'm gonna hold on to the base and then pull out a little, oh, that was anticlimactic. Look at that little guy. We got the goods. Well, our crab party is officially over. A day in my life. All right. Behind, coming down, right behind, coming down, right behind. It's almost 2 o'clock. We're gonna get ready for our roundup meeting where we all kind of gather before the day and talk about anything that might be pertinent to service.
We want to do it right every time. We want to value the guests that are coming in.
The service here at Osito is different than other restaurants because we are one communal table. So it's just a matter of orchestrating the timing of everything so that everyone is accommodated in like a timely fashion. We only have one aversion today and it's one no shellfish. So that means we'll have like an uni supplement just to be safe. The expectations when coming in to eat here, I feel are a little bit higher than most restaurants due to, you know, recently being awarded a star. So it's important for us to kind of maintain that level and standard of excellence as much to our ability. So it's about 3 o'clock. I'm gonna go around the kitchen to make sure everyone's good for service and pick up any little tasks. Do we have more of this, by the way? Part of my job to go through and make sure that we have everything for service. I want to check the quantities, the quality. I like to also take note of like how quickly we're going through things to see if it needs to be done the next day. Yum. So we're checking in on our last batch of pate for the day. To make sure that it's ready, I'm gonna use my digital thermometer here, and I'm looking for an internal temperature of at least 131. We see we're a little bit over, which is great. Corner out, hot stuff.
Hot stuff.
All right, it's 5 o'clock. We call back in this kitchen just to make sure that everyone heard that information, and that's my way of knowing and confirming that they heard what I said. We just got our reservation sheet for the evening. That means it's about 5:15. We open at 5:30. I hope you got an idea of what it was like to be a sous chef here at Osito. Unfortunately, you have to go, and we love seeing you soon. Bye. That's a wrap.
I opened Salvo's, an Italian sandwich shop out of my apartment in Queens, delivered via Go4 Interceptor. Salvo's began kind of by accident. I had posted something online that said, I'm gonna be selling this food now. And since opening less than a year ago, I went from a couple of customers to selling about 50 sandwiches a week. The different hats I wear: shop prepping, cooking, packing, delivering, dispatcher, customer service, graphic designer. Why I do everything is because I don't know that you're not supposed to do everything. I don't come from the industry. Hey, good morning. I'm Sal, owner of Salvo's Cucina Casalinga. It's about 8 a.m. and we got quite a few sandwiches to make, so we're gonna get started. Follow me up. Welcome. This is our workspace, my home kitchen. We're gonna get a couple of sandwiches going. The first we need to prep is a Genovese sandwich. This is sort of inspired by my childhood. Traditionally, it's ground beef in a sweet carrot and onion sauce. My family always had it as an entree. So we're gonna cook beef loin and then slice it just as we did when I was a kid and start browning it. Just a couple of minutes on each side just to get a nice color, and color will translate as deliciousness. Yeah, my home kitchen, it's not restaurant grade stuff. Salvo's does have food handler's license, but we got like a home stove here, just a regular refrigerator here. It takes a bit for an object to find its place, but it works. And this is also the way that I've been cooking my whole life. It's the way that my mom has been cooking, my grandmother, everyone in my family who I've learned to cook from cooked in kitchens just like this. So it works great for me. So while this is browning, we're gonna get started on prepping our onions and carrots. At the beginning of the week, Salvo's announces a few sandwiches. Today's the Genovese sandwich as the special. The mortadella is kind of a fan favorite, so we're doing that as well today. When I was starting off, it was pretty much whatever I was eating for lunch is what I was gonna sell. Meat looks nice and brown. We're gonna take it out. So we're gonna add our onions here, and these are gonna wilt quite a bit and get nice and sweet, nice and creamy. So we're gonna get our carrots now. Working from the home kitchen definitely has its puzzles. It kind of looks like a deli's fridge. So there's a bit of the refrigerator that's kind of reserved for personal consumption, but for the most part, Mary and I were eating what I'm making for Salvo's anyway. Mary is my lovely girlfriend, super supportive of having me run my business out of my home kitchen, our home kitchen. Yeah, I lucked out. Monday is my big prep shopping day. I'll pick everything up that I need for the week, do about 3 delivery days per the week. Traditionally deglaze a Genovese with white wine. I don't have any today, so I'm gonna use some delicious faccia bruto. Just a splash of this goes in. So the time's 9:15. We're gonna order a courier to pick up the bread. Get our bread from this bakery from across town called Otway Bakery. So originally I was driving across town in the Go4 to pick it up. There's just not enough time to do that. A wonderful Uber driver who thinks they're picking up a package of sorts. It's gotta make their car smell pretty good though. I just changed my phone to Italian because I wanna get better at my Italian. So I'm kind of schooling myself right now. Dang, we got surge prices here. I've also baked some of my own bread in the past. A friend of mine told me like there are people out there who make delicious bread and they're gonna make bread better than you. So if you can just find those people, it's a win-win for everyone. So that's kind of one of the things that I'm finding. It's like I can't do it all. It takes about a half hour to be picked up and then dropped off here. So I like to start making the sandwiches an hour before the first delivery. We're gonna bring the meat back over here. And then in addition to that, we're gonna add some chicken stock. Is made Sunday or Monday. Toss in a couple bay leaves, a touch of salt. This is kind of like the secret ingredient. It's called salsa secca, which translates to dried sauce. This is from the region of Palermo in Sicily, where my dad is from. In like the scorching August in Sicily, they'll lay out on tables the passata, and then over a couple of days, it dehydrates naturally from the air and the sun, and you're left with this super, super concentrated tomato paste that is is delicious. I thought like maybe I could, dehydrate a bunch of sauce, but the amount of sauce that you need, there's just no space for that. And that's gonna just add a whole bunch of depth and flavor. Everything is just about added, so now we're just gonna let it cook for about 3 hours. It's 9:45, and we're waiting for the bread to get here, so we're gonna get started on the pesto in the meantime. First step, of course, is the basil. The pesto adds a bit of acid, a bit of brightness to it. It's about half a garlic. Garlic goes a long way in pesto. I'm gonna add some mint as well. For this ninja, I had a blender. It definitely helps, especially if I'm working alone, to even chop a couple of things so I don't have to be doing that. We're gonna add 1, maybe 2 anchovy fillets. This doesn't make the pesto taste fishy, it just creates a nice flavor. Bit of pepper, a lot of olive oil. Right now I've been using Nostimo olive oil, which is Greek. I actually found out about them through Salvo's, through making deliveries. I delivered to a customer. Their family has a grove in Greece. Been using some of their olive oil recently. Super delicious. Cool, then we're gonna add pecorino romano, and I like to add a few breadsticks. This adds a nice crunch to the pesto and to the sandwich. Cool, that's pretty much it. Leave this in the fridge until we're ready to make the mortadella sandwiches. Time check's about 10 a.m. We're gonna start thinking about next week's menu. It's all handwritten and then posted on Instagram. So most people have found out about Salvo's through Instagram. I'll post something the week of and I'll announce a menu. People can send their pre-orders for the day that they select. I think I wanna do next week prosciutto, mozzarella, and marinated peppers. After the mortadella, it seems like the prosciutto is sort of a fan favorite. So this sandwich has reappeared in a few different versions, the prosciutto kind of being the main ingredient. So that would be for Wednesday, I'm thinking, and then for Thursday, I think a Sicilian style tuna salad would be nice, especially as the weather's getting warmer. I do this labor-intensive handwritten menus because it feels really, really warm and friendly. If I'm nerding out, this is letters inspired by my father's handwriting. So I tried replicating, his handwriting a bit. I'm gonna check bread arrival time, and it looks like they're right out front. So we're gonna grab our bread. Yeah, they're right out front. Hey, how's it going? Thank you. Have a nice day. Cool. Got our fresh bread, baked not even an hour ago. They delivered ciabatta for today. The ciabatta is my absolute favorite, especially for panini. Huge open pockets, absorb olive oil, in this case a pesto. It's super light and soft on the inside, crusty on the outside, exactly what you want. I have listed that there's a stock of 20 of each sandwich. So that kind of helps me keep track of how much I need to buy, how much I need to cook, and there's no food waste because I know everything is being sold. Here's a list of orders that need to go out today. We have quite a bit today. So it's 10:45. We have a dozen mortadella panini to make today. Cut our bread, toss in some mortadella, our pesto, mozzarella di bufala, imported from Campania. The most delicious mozzarella comes from this region of Italy. I remember the first time I tried it was in a gas station in Italy. After we arrived from the airport, we were driving back to my uncle's house where we were staying, and we stopped. That was like the first stop. We had to hit it. It's delicious stuff. It was a dream of mine to have a deli slicer in my home kitchen. Here we have freshly sliced mortadella. Next thing after the basil, I want to add the mozzarella. It's beautiful. Super creamy. Add grated Parmesan. And then finish it off. A bit of our lemon zest. That's one panino finished. We have just 11 left. This deli style folding took me a while to learn. Cut it here. and then a secondary. And this blue tape was like one of the first ideas I had. The color of Napoli, where my mom's from. This was just like a simple homage, and it like quickly became synonymous with Salvo's, which is kind of cool, the blue tape. And then into the cooler it goes, and then we do the whole thing over again. It's noon, the Genovese has finally ended cooking, so it's time to build our second sandwich. First thing we're gonna do, take some of the carrot and onion and kind of cook it down in the skillet. So it becomes a little thicker. The longer we cook it, the creamier it gets. I want it to have the consistency of a jam. So for the Genovese sandwich, the star is obviously our meat, and then our carrot and onion jam. And then for cheese, I'm thinking Fiore di Sardegna, sheep's milk cheese. It's slightly sharp, very creamy. It's always like a little puzzle, figuring out where everything goes. It's all here though. Our jam is ready to go. Just gonna add a touch of honey for added sweetness. First we add a little bit of our jam. Next goes our slices of Genovese. And then our Fiore di Sardegna, finish it off. Another in the cooler. It was my dad's when he was working as a laborer. Luckily we have the same name, so it says Salvatore, so that was pretty cool. It's 12:30, done with the sandwiches, they're all packed up. It's time to load them in the Go4. This crazy thing is a 2013 Go4 Interceptor. I bought it off of some mechanic in Greenpoint. It's essentially a scooter with a roof on it, so it keeps me warm in the wintertime, keeps me dry on rainy days. This does not go on the highway. It reaches a max of 40 miles an hour, and when it does, it just like shakes a bunch. It's like it becomes scary real quick. And I think it makes a lot of people happy seeing it in the street. A loud, fun, strange machine. Time to make our deliveries. First stop is in Bed-Stuy. The Go4 is a pretty good cheat code riding around in New York City. You can kind of fit it anywhere, you can park it anywhere. When you're riding down one-way streets and the road could be blocked off by a garbage truck or something, the Go4 can usually squeeze by pretty easily. Since I started doing the deliveries on my bicycle, I pretty much knew a lot of the roads, a lot of the streets, a lot of the cross streets, especially in Brooklyn and Queens. It's pretty cool. A lot of that is still memorized. I use a lot of those routes. All right, we're coming up to our delivery. Any second. Hey, what's up? Yeah, your mortadella. And then I have, do you like pasta fagioli? Yeah. Yeah, I have pasta fagioli here. Excellent. Enjoy, thanks so much, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah, sweet. And the next spot we're heading to is Rita Maria. It's a cafe in Bed-Stuy. Actually became pretty good friends with them. They're awesome people. A lot of the times pop up there. So I host these dinner pop-ups. It's usually Sunday suppers. Yeah, lunches are a lot of fun, but there's a whole other opportunities when it comes to making dinners. So Rita Maria, they gave me a sort of a venue. I think the most rewarding part about running Salvo's is making people happy. It's also like how I show that I care, cooking food and feeding people. And it's just really nice for that to be reciprocated and people to understand that food is important, food is happy, food is fun. Thank you so much for following me today. I got a few more deliveries to make, so we'll see you later.